Resolution 105 that we will also offer in today's hearing.
Sir, excuse po, sir.
So while we await some of I request now the Commissioner to please acknowledge the invited guests and resource persons present.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I appreciate the statement of the Chairman that indeed in this room we are crowded. But I think being crowded is not a problem. All that we have to do is to request silence and order on all those who are around so that the proceeding may proceed smoothly, Mr. Chairman.
And thank you for that reminder, Deputy Speaker. That manifestation is well noted. So we request everyone to please observe silence, and we request everyone to act in accordance with how we will be able to dispense with the measures at hand promptly and effectively. So let me enjoin everyone to please observe silence and the proper decorum. Thank you. May I request now the committee secretary to acknowledge the invited guests and resource persons.
Yes, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our guests and resource persons. Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II, the DOJ Secretary. Chief Public Attorney, Attorney Persida R. Acosta. Solicitor General Jose Tagiwa. Assistant Solicitor General Rex Pascual.
Excuse me, it's
Kalida. Assistant Solicitor General Rex Pascual. Police Chief Superintendent Nestor Kensai Jr. Police Chief Superintendent Augusto Marquez Jr. Police Chief Superintendent Benjamin Buza. From PNP, Mr. Benjamin Magalong. Attorney Roselyn Borja from PIDEA. Director Wilkins Villanueva, also from PIDEA. Attorney Karina Aquino, also from PIDEA. Attorney Boy Santos from the Department of Justice. Attorney Eric Balmes from the Department of Justice. Attorney Enan Orco from the Department of Justice. Attorney Antonio Co from the Department of Justice. Attorney Raymond Mecate from the Department of Justice. Mr. Vivencio Ablen Jr. from the National Bureau of Investigation. And Mr. Rafael Ramos, also from the National Bureau of Investigation.
I did not hear the names of the director of NBI, is he here? Giran, Superintendent Pabon,
Yes, sir.
and then Chief PNP Ronald De La Rosa.
Sir, wala pa po dito sa ating list.
Yusek La Peña, PIDEA. Si Special Action Force. IBP President, no representative from IBP. BACC. Boy Evangelista, is he around?
Sir, he's there. Just arrived.
Can we still accommodate him in the i-check na. Benjamin Reyes of DDB. Okay. So anyway, let me just remind those invited guests that that invitation is addressed to the heads of offices, and we feel that it is important that their personal presence is here. But of course, for today's hearing, we will dispense with their presence. They may have many other matters to attend to, but I would just like to stress the importance of this hearing, as may be shown by the many people, including the media that are around. This seems to be a matter that ought to be in the priority of the different agencies, heads of agencies invited. So, having said that, I'd like to bid everyone a pleasant morning. The President has overwhelmingly won on a platform of anti-criminality, anti-corruption, and anti-drugs. The President walked his talk as he vigorously pursued his campaign promises to the point of now being confronted with issues such as the extrajudicial killing. Interestingly, majority of the people seem apathetic to this issue, presumably because of the breakdown in the criminal justice system or people's lack of confidence thereto. People are so afraid to even testify for fear that police or investigators, or even prosecutors and judges will bungle their jobs. Worse, people will now become more fearful because their perception that justice has been served is breached by mismanagement or even corruption in the penitentiary. No wonder convicted felons feel at home in the penitentiary because they can continue their freedom and even live luxurious lifestyles. Taking the cue from the Justice Committee of the 17th Congress aims to be more relevant and responsive to the President's call and the Speaker's directive to pursue a holistic policy reform agenda towards regaining the people's trust and confidence on the criminal justice system. To this end, we have restructured and empowered the subcommittees to pursue the needed reforms. And I'd like to give a rundown of the subcommittees and their chairpersons that we have activated. First is the Subcommittee on Investigation and Enforcement Reforms, and this will be chaired by Vice Chairman Representative Strike Lavinia. So we hope that all of the reforms needed to address all the lapses in the conduct of the enforcement and or even investigation will be covered by the subcommittee. Second is the Subcommittee on Prosecutorial Reform, to be chaired by Representative Paulino Salvador Doyle. And the Vice Chairman here will chair it, and we expect that all reforms needed in the prosecution service will be addressed by this subcommittee. Then comes judicial reform. Subcommittee on Judicial Reform that will be chaired by Vice Chairman Representative Vicente Ching Veloso, a former Justice of the Court of Appeals, to handle all reforms needed in the judiciary and the performance of this judicial function. And then, likewise, we will cover, as we are not covering in this committee hearing, the needed reforms in the correctional pillar of the criminal justice system. So, a subcommittee on correctional reform being headed by Vice Chairman Henry Owaminal to handle all sorts of reforms needed in the Bureau of Prison and all other penitentiaries and jails that we have in this country. Of course, we have our fifth Vice Chairman, Representative Arnulfo Noli Puentebella, who will also chair the Subcommittee on Immigration, Deportation, and Naturalization. We have another committee, special concerns, but we are still awaiting the election of the Vice Chairman, who will handle special matters like, of course, land legislation, the IBP, and other aspects that we have not covered in the mandate of the Committee on Justice. So under the rules, members of the committee may choose which subcommittee they wish to be part of, provided a member may be a member of only one subcommittee. I would like to request that those who wish to be members of a subcommittee to inform the committee secretary, subject to equitable distribution of membership. My intention is to activate all of these subcommittees so as not to lose time in hearing measures that are vital to the reforms mentioned. Now, for part one of today's committee hearing, there are two such measures that require our immediate attention, since they are priority measures mentioned by the President no less during his honor and by the Speaker during the opening of the first regular session. These are: one, the restoration of the death penalty for heinous crimes, and two, the lowering of the minimum age of criminal responsibility. There are currently 7 House bills on restoring the death penalty and 4 bills on lowering the minimum age of criminal responsibility. Likewise, I have a letter from Honorable Kakabagaw, who wishes that his House Resolution 241, entitled a resolution directing the Congressional Committee on the Welfare of Children to conduct an inquiry into legislation on the effectiveness of the Republic Act 1944 as amended by the Republic Act 10630, otherwise known as the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, and its impact on children, or if the minimum age of criminal responsibility is lowered, to be covered by this particular hearing. At any rate, we will just give a brief moment for the sponsor or sponsors of this bill to introduce the subject, and what we will do thereafter is just download it or refer it to the respective subcommittees so that we can now proceed with the awaited hearing on House Resolution 105, which was filed on July 21, 2016, and this is authored by the Speaker, Bebot Alvarez, the Majority Floor Leader, Rudy Parinas, our Deputy Speaker, Rani Apu, Congressman Duavit, Acop, Nograles, Suarez, Peñas, Tolentino, Liachon, and Martinez. So, having said that, please, Your Honor.
I move that with the A and B Roman numeral number 12, the explanatory notes of the bills will be considered already as this sponsor so to speak, so that we refer them to the proper subcommittee. Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded, so there being no objection, the same House Bill numbers 116, 513, 3237, 3239, 3240, and 3418 is hereby referred to the subcommittee on judicial reform. While House Bills numbers 2, 505, 1609, and 209 is hereby referred to the two subcommittees on prosecutorial reform and correctional reform. So you are hereby directed to immediately carry out the mandate of your subcommittees so that you can report it out to the mother committee for appropriate disposition.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, point of inquiry lang po. Mr. Chair, this representation delivered the privileged speech in August 2, putting on record the position of Gabriela Women's Party, as well as the position of different children's organizations opposing the lowering of the minimum age of criminal responsibility of children. I believe that my speech has been referred to the Committee on Rules and to the Committee on Justice last September 6, 2016. I would like to know if it can be included, since you said that it will be referred to the subcommittee. I would like to express my, I would like to put forward my intent to be a part of this subcommittee, because I am not, I'm still not a member of the Committee on Justice. I would also like to put forward my intent to be a member of the Committee on Justice.
Okay, so the committee takes note of that. I hereby request the COMSEC to please validate whether this privilege, is it a resolution or a privilege speech has been referred by the Committee on Rules to the Committee on Justice, and we still have vacant membership positions. You might wish to at the proper time make representations with the leadership for your membership to this committee and this subcommittee. Yes, please, Deputy Speaker.
From the explanation of Chair, there being other measures with similar subject matter as House Bill number 1, that is the reimposition of death penalty. Therefore move that all these bills be consolidated and House Bill number 1 be the surviving bill. I move, Mr. Chairman.
I hereby direct the subcommittee on judicial reform to please look into this matter for appropriate disposition.
Mr. Chairman, similar motion so far as House Bill number 2 and other pending measures with similar subject matter that they be consolidated into one, and House Bill number 2 be the surviving bill.
Same directive to the subcommittee on prosecutorial and correctional reform to take note of this and submit to the mother committee your action thereto. So, having covered the first part of our agenda, we now go to House Resolution number 105. Let me just give a brief remark on this. As we now proceed to tackle a resolution calling for an investigation in aid of legislation on the proliferation of drug syndicates at the National Bureau of Prison. For the record, 3 weeks ago, much as we wanted to conduct an inquiry into this issue, we could not do so because the committee has not yet been fully organized. At that time, we only have, I think, about 12 members and 2 vice chair. And likewise, the rules of procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation has not yet been published. Neither can we now postpone it for a later date because of the plenary budget hearing. So we deemed it appropriate to hear this today and tomorrow, and depending on the directive and the needs of continuously hearing on this, then we will ask the leadership if we can pursue this until we fully cover. Minded that we only have about, I think, 2 months under the rules to be able to fully dispose of this particular issue. So anyway, let me just point out also that, again, this is not about Senator Leila De Lima, who is my sister in her sorority, Landro Sigma, and this is really about the issue on the proliferation of drug syndicates in the NBP, and I would just like to disabuse the mind of my sis that this is a sham hearing and this is a random committee that is being conducted here. So, but anyway, having said that, what we need to establish are the facts needed to enable Congress to effectively perform its mandate. I do recall having been vice chair of the Committee on Justice in the last 2 Congresses, that we did conduct some investigation. But the trouble is, while we did some investigation, the problem persisted and probably it was even aggravated. So these are the things now that we would want a closure on by this committee, and we want to do it as holistically as possible, covering not only the correctional aspect of the criminal justice system, but the 3 other pillars, so that the 5th pillar, and that is the community, will regain trust and confidence in the criminal justice system. Our goal is to come up with a report containing the findings of our investigation. This report will also contain our recommendations based on our findings, which will take either one of 3 forms or all of 3. New legislation, a remedial or a mandatory legislation, or a directive to the appropriate agency to issue the necessary administrative regulations as part of our oversight functions in Congress. With this in mind, I hope that we can conduct this investigation in an orderly fashion, and I enjoin all members to please observe the proper decorum as honorable gentlemen as we are, that we avoid going to issues of personality, but stick to the issues at hand. I understand that we have witnesses with testimonies that would help us determine the cause of the problem of proliferation of drugs and drug syndicates in the New Philippine prison, and who among the responsible government officials before and even today are culpable through direct participation or through gross inexcusable negligence in allowing these syndicates to proliferate while inside the supposed maximum security compound. The commitment to the NDP of persons convicted by final judgment is supposed to be the final act to the victims of criminality in this country. These convicted persons are supposed to serve their sentence as punishment imposed by them, on them by the judiciary and be reformed. This is supposed to be a closure for the victims and their families. Unfortunately, the fact that these convicted felons are still able to continue with their illegal activities while incarcerated makes a complete mockery of our criminal justice system. It renders the justice sought by the victims and their families as mere illusion. For how can justice be truly served when the perpetrators themselves are still able to commit crimes with impunity while inside the national penitentiary? This question must be answered in this inquiry, and we must be able to get to the bottom of this issue in order to make sure we put finish to this travesty of justice. So now we would like to request first the Vice Chairman of the Subcommittee of Correctional Reforms to give his opening remarks because this is a matter really that is covered by the subcommittee. Before we proceed to the sponsors of this bill,
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. In July this year, just as we formally ushered in a new regime that was elected on a promise to rid our beloved nation of illegal drugs and crime, the House of Representatives, through the able leadership of Speaker Alvarez and other members, filed a resolution calling for an investigation in aid of legislation on the proliferation of drug syndicates at the national delimit prison. Over the past years, the Filipino people's eyes have been opened to a hard and simple truth. While rumors abounded that the national delimit prison was a hub where illegal drug trade proliferated, our eyes were first opened when a raid was conducted on December 2014 by then Secretary of Justice, now Senator Leila De Lima. The said raid, which was highly publicized, yielded shabu and other drug paraphernalia, inflatable sex dolls, a stripper bar, and jacuzzi spread across 19 air-conditioned booths built for convicted drug dealers. Law enforcement authorities also found in subsequent raids other prohibited items such as firearms and bleeding weapons, mobile phones, flat screen TVs, laptops, Wi-Fi, luxury watches, a sauna, and over 2 million in cash from body searches of several high-profile inmates. In the villa of Peter Pu, which was linked by secret pathways to areas around the Philippine, authorities have also seized documents containing a list of names with corresponding cash amounts and dates involving drug transactions. Meanwhile, in another kubo occupied by robbery gang leader Herbert Polanco, police found a music studio where he was reportedly able to produce a music video that went viral on YouTube. According to news reports, more than 30 raids have been conducted between 2014 to 2016. Yet, despite these raids, the current reality shows that the illegal drugs rate is covered in the national delimit prison not only continues, but actually thrives. Are we to deduce that the illegal drug trade, we should stress, within government property has proliferated because it has actually been allowed to by people in power? Or are we to surmise that because of overcrowded cells, the task of discovering and addressing has become a shared impossibility for our prison stewards? We must find out whether those tasked with supervising our prisons have turned a blind eye on this phenomenon. Is there truly a shabu factory inside, or was shabu allowed to be transported inside prison grounds? What were the results of those raids? Were those conducted merely for show, to gain popularity in aid of election, or perhaps to gain leverage for negotiation with the drug lords operating within the NBP? And why is it that cellular phones supposedly prohibited, and which is the means by which the illegal drug trade is facilitated, continue to be confiscated from the inmates? Again, we come down to the crux of this issue. Why were we unable to stop such flagrant defiance of our laws inside a government institution and manned by employees of the government nonetheless? Instead, the situation has become so dire that our Special Action Force troopers, the creme de la creme of our law enforcement units, have been tasked with guarding the NBB. It is in this regard that we have invited today the executive branch, particularly the Secretary of Justice, Honorable Italiano Aguirre, under whose jurisdiction the Bureau of Corrections and NBP fall under, along with the heads of other agencies involved in combating illegal drugs, such as the PDEA, one of his representatives, the Director General Lapina, who is on official travel, the able, energetic Director of NCR, Director Wilkins Villanueva, who had accomplished in padlocking so many shabu laboratories recently, and the Philippine National Police, who is whose deputy chief is represented here by General Magalong, in order to enlighten us on the Duterte's administration efforts to address the issue of proliferation of illegal drugs at the NBP. As the subcommittee's chair in charge of the correctional reforms, I believe this investigation could help us craft legislation that will reform our prison system and ensure that corruption and illegal drug trade are fully weeded out. The House of Representatives, under the leadership of Speaker Alvarez, through this committee, is intent on finding out the truth. Rest assured that we will direct this investigation so that we may be more guided in our legislative actions. We will be taking into account the possible structural, organizational, and cultural weaknesses that allow the occurrence of illegal activities in our correctional institutions. Of particular interest will be whether the time is right to finally proceed with plans to build a new prison facility in Fort Magsaysay in Nueva Ecija. According to the International Center for Prison Studies, ICPS, in 2015, our prison system is the fourth most overcrowded in the world. This committee, during the 16th Congress, upon the initiative of then Senior Vice Chair and now Majority Floor Leader Rodolfo Fariñas, have in fact proposed this mission, and the Department of Justice actually held a bidding for a public-private partnership to undertake this project. We must now ask also the Department of Justice for Secretary Aguirre as to the status of this project. The clamor from our people to thoroughly address the drugs issue has been deafening. As representatives of the people, we are duty-bound to do our part in supporting President Duterte and the government efforts to address this crisis. We now have a man at the helm who has staked his life, honor, and the presidency in order to accomplish the mandate given to him by the people. It is only proper that this august body, through the leadership of our dynamic Speaker Alvarez and the rest of the members of the lower house, lend its hand in furthering the goal of eliminating the trade of illegal drugs and upholding the people's welfare. We are conducting this investigation in our desire to correct this deplorable aberration of our government institutions, being at the mercy of individuals and groups who defy the law with impunity. We do this in our hope that those responsible for the mess we are in today are held accountable and put to justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Omina. So now we will recognize the author of House Resolution 105, the Honorable Minority Floor Leader, Anderson.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Committee on Justice, Secretary Aguirre, distinguished resource person, your honors. When I was minority leader during the 15th Congress, I already pointed out during our weekly minority press conferences the pandemic in the making, which is the proliferation of drugs and its allied ill effects to society. It is very unfortunate that the then powers that be took no notice. What is the result of the last 6 years under an administration which was blind to the obvious drug proliferation in our country? According to 2015 data from the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, PDEA, around 1/5 of barangay or villages in the Philippines had drug-related cases. 92% of the barangays in Metro Manila have drug-related cases. And what is painful about this data is that as early as 2012, the United Nations World Drug Report said the Philippines already has the highest rate of shabu use in East Asia. A 2012 study on drug trafficking by the Philippine Center for Transnational Crime echoes this sentiment when it stated that a total of 6,020 barangays in the country are drug infested. Clearly, Mr. Chairman, we were not lacking in knowledge about the drug problem that early. Mr. Chairman, while a statistician can debate whether there is causality or not between the rise in drug use in the country and the rise in criminality, I think it can be safely concluded that there is indeed a direct correlation between the two. According to the Philippine Statistics Office, the total reported crimes for 2014 was 1,161,180 as compared to 2,017,812 in 2012. In the same time span, index crime rose from 129,161 in 2012 to 492,772 in 2013. In 2014, I was no longer surprised by the news that shocked the whole nation when a raid operation in the New Philippine prison revealed that drug lords inside the maximum security compound live in a life of luxury. They have, as what mentioned by the Vice Chair, flat screen TVs, jacuzzis, refrigerators, cars, luxury watches, golf carts, electric bikes, musical instruments, and other prohibited contraband. These drug lords had the audacity to operate a nationwide drug syndicate while supposedly serving sentences for their crimes. Mr. Chairman, an operation this brazen could not have happened without the approval of several government high officials. When news broke up regarding the proliferation of drugs and the continued operation of the drug lords inside Philippine, I was expecting that the House would conduct its inquiry in the matter. However, I'm not aware of any action on the part of the House to address this issue, which is why immediately after the start of the 17th Congress, I sought the help of the House leadership in order to determine the proper course of action. In line with the current administration drive against illegal drugs, which is undeniably regardless of one's political affiliation, a real menace and threat to the Filipino people, one of the persons I approached is the current majority leader, Rudy Parinas, and he told me that he would ask for assistance from the current Secretary of Justice to conduct a preliminary investigation on the matter. Given this assurance, we filed House Resolution number 105 entitled Resolution calling for an investigation in aid of legislation on the proliferation of drug syndicate at the National Philippine Prison. Through this investigation, I am hopeful that we will be able to address the root of the drug racket inside the Philippine prison, and we will determine who among the government officials responsible, if any, are involved in the proliferation and trade of illegal drugs. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. The opening remarks of the minority floor leader is noted and well taken. This is precisely what we intend to do in this committee, to look deeper into this situation besetting the National Philippine Prison, which probably has been neglected for quite a while. At this juncture, may we now hear from one of the co-authors of this House Resolution number 105, representing the majority. We recognize Congressman Romy Acop, who is also chair of the Committee on Public Order and Security.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the Honorable Chairman of the Committee on Justice, to the Honorable members of the committee, my esteemed colleagues, guests, and fellow workers in government, a pleasant good morning. Today, this representation as a primary author has been tasked to deliver a speech before this committee in sponsorship of House Resolution number 105, which seeks an investigation in aid of legislation on the proliferation of drug syndicates at the National Philippine Prison. This is not an easy task to do, knowing very well the sensitive nature of the subject matter of this investigation. Not only does it concern the problem of illegal drugs that threatens to destroy the very fabric of our society, but it also focuses on the state of affairs and the premier penitentiary in the country, the National Philippine Prison, as well as on the efforts of the government to rehabilitate and reform our brothers who run afoul with the law and now in incarceration. Frankly, I have concerns that this investigation may unintendedly step on the toes of certain personalities who may be pulling strings or holding money bags in the lucrative trade of illegal drugs in and outside the Philippines. I am also worried that political sensitivities may be unavoidably touched upon and raised among the onion skin, whose names might be brought in the course of the investigation. But I am willing to take the chance, if only to stand for the principles that as a public servant believe in, that of pursuing integrity in the service of the people and ensuring a peaceful and drug-free society for our people to live in. I am deeply frustrated by the fact that it is supposedly tightly guarded prison facility, illegal activities like trafficking of illegal drugs, even of women, kidnapping and murders take place. Intelligence then and evidence now reveal that some high-profile inmates remain to be the central figures in the illegal drug trade, even while in prison. They allegedly, as what this investigation now aims to determine, collude with law enforcement officers, prison authorities, and government personnel are reported to be in their payroll. Their network appears to be well entrenched and has become a business empire with headquarters at the National Philippine Prison. This investigation is about cleansing the principal penitentiary in the country of all the evils of drug trafficking inside the facility, which threaten the well-being not only of the inmates, but of all drug dependents who astonishingly derive their supply from the operations of drug syndicates conveniently nestled inside the National Philippine Prison. It is about calling to task the men and officers of the Bureau of Corrections for their failures in the administration of the facility that have aggravated the drug menace inside the prison and have put to doubt the efficiency and effectiveness of the government's inmate rehabilitation and reformation programs. It is time to call a spade and identify these erring custodial officials and officers who are in cahoots with the drug lords inside the prison facility are making a kill in their profits from the illegal drug trade. It is payback time It is time to put a new human face to the ill-reputed National Bilibid Prison. I have strong faith in the able leadership of the chairman of this committee and its members that the investigation will be conducted in the spirit of utmost objectivity, fairness, and with due regard to the rule of law. At the end of the day, our common objectives remain the same: to ferret out the truth, to eliminate the drug menace in the country, and to restore the people's trust to our government. These goals we hope to attain by coming up with a proposed remedial legislation as a result of this investigation. May divine providence guide us in this endeavor. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Akop. Thank you, distinguished authors of House Resolution 105. I know that many of the members would like to say something before we even proceed, but the chair feels that to provide everyone a better perspective of this situation that we are now investigating, it would be much better if the Secretary of Justice, who has conducted an investigation into the matter, would be able to provide us a comprehensive report of what they have done so far, their findings, and what the recommendations will be for the consideration of this committee. But in the meanwhile, and pursuant to rules on legislative inquiries, we will have to request all of the resource persons who will give their testimonies before this committee to take their oath, and I hereby direct the COMSEC to please administer the oath of all those resource persons. We request those who will enlighten this committee of on the matter to please rise and for the administration of their oath.
Please raise your right hand and follow me. I, please state your name. Swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you, COMSEC, and thank you, distinguished guest. So we now give the floor to the Honorable Secretary of Justice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. To all our deputy speakers present, to the chairperson of the Committee on Justice, Honorable Ronaldo Mahan, to the chairperson of the Committee on Public Order, Honorable Romeo, to the chairperson of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, Honorable Robert Ace Barbers, Majority Floor Leader Rudy Paredes, Minority Floor Leader Congressman Danny Suarez, Vice Chairman Henry Waminal, distinguished members of the August committees comprising this joint investigation, distinguished members of the House of Representatives, our Chief President Costa, the Minister of the Department of Justice, members of the media, both local and international, to all resource persons, a blessed and drug-free morning. Before anything else, I wish to reiterate that the Department of Justice fully supports President Rodrigo Duterte's commitment on drugs. We fully commit ourselves to the eradication of this menace to our children, our family, and our country. We wish to reassure the public and the honorable members of our distinguished committees those who are responsible for the drug trade in this country, once apprehended, will find nothing but prosecution and punishment down the road. One area of utmost concern for everyone is the proliferation and escalation of drug trade in the national penitentiary. It is most unfortunate that convicted felons who are supposed to be punished and reformed have private drug entrepreneurs and drug businessmen. Why this happened, how it happened, is the reason why we are here. We have to get to the bottom of this. We all want the truth. Drugs have caused deaths. It has destroyed families. It has shattered dreams. And it will continue to menace our people if we do not stop it. It has how, the where, the when, and most importantly, the who and how much on the proliferation of these prohibited drugs in our prisons. The Filipino people deserves the truth. We are confident that the truth will come out. The purpose of today's hearing, I will present to the committee the video interview of J.B. Sebastian. The video showing the Kubul of Peter Gold and other videos. Further, I will show the committee the ingenious ways our inmates in hiding their communication devices. Further, the resource persons will shed light on the participation of the highest official of the Department of Justice at that time in the proliferation of illegal drugs inside the new Philippine prison. The nature and tenor of the testimonies of the resource persons are as follows. We will present Rafael Z. Ramos, who was once the OIC Bureau Director and who is still an employee and an officer of the NBI. He will testify that sometime in 2012, he found a black bag containing money on his bed at the Bureau Director's quarters. He received a call instructing him to deliver the black handbag containing limang manok, or in the believed language, 5 million to Mr. Ronnie Dayan. He, in June, Ablen, delivered the money to Mr. Dayan and DOJ Secretary De Lima at her house in South Bay Village, Parañaque. Mr. Racos will also testify that on December 12, 2012, he found money on his bed at the Bureau Director's quarter. He then received a call to deliver the money to Mr. Dayan, just like the first time, and he delivered the money to the house of Secretary De Lima. This is another 5 million pesos. Herbert Polanco, he will testify among others that he was ordered by J.B. Sebastian to sell drugs. Also, Mr. Polanco will testify that Jonel Sanchez asked him to sell drugs for the plan of then DOJ Secretary De Lima. Mr. Polanco paid Payola to DOJ Secretary and Director of Bucor amounting to 3 million pesos per month, and to the Director of Bucor 1.2 million pesos per month. Rodolfo Magleo, a former major of the PNP, will testify that J.B. Sebastian told him that several drug lords and non-conforming inmates will be removed from the maximum security compound so he could monopolize the drug trade inside the compound. He will testify that J.B. Sebastian paid millions to the DOJ Secretary De Lima and Director Bucayo, and that J.B. Sebastian is one of the financiers of the DOJ Secretary De Lima for the latter's senatorial campaign. He will also testify that J.B. Sebastian told him that he paid the DOJ Secretary De Lima 10 million pesos for the transfer of Bilibid 19 and an additional 1 million pesos per month. We will present Noel Martinez. He will testify that sometime in January 2013, and the other leaders of gangs were introduced by DOJ Secretary De Lima, by J.B. Sebastian. He will also testify that sometime February 2013, J.B. Sebastian informed him that DOJ Secretary De Lima needed funds for her plan to run in the 2016 senatorial elections. J.B. Sebastian ordered the centralization of the drug sale
into Bilibid and report him and other gang leaders for help. In exchange, they will receive protection and special treatment. Provincial Glenn Jr., who is still with the NBI, will testify that he and Mr. Ragos were longtime friends, and sometime in November and December, together with Mr. Ragos, they delivered the 10 million, 5 million each, the 10 million pesos to the house of Secretary De Lima. Jaime Pacho, he will testify that J.B. Sebastian approached him for help for the senatorial campaign of DOJ Secretary De Lima. He then referred a person to J.B. Sebastian who received drugs and paid for it through bank deposit. The other, we were instructed, we were told by the committee secretary that the others should not be brought here for order and security purposes, because I believe that with the 6 witnesses, we will have our hands full until the end of the hearing today. That is the opening statement, Your Honors, and may we request that we be allowed to present the video interview of J.B. Sebastian by the Discovery Channel, and this will show how powerful this person is and why his words are law in the new Philippine prison. Let's watch, please.
Mr. Chairman, complementary questions. Are these witnesses willing to testify here today? Are they testifying here today?
Yes, Your Honor. They are here and they will testify.
Without asking for any immunity or what?
They were not asking for anything, for any favor, and we didn't give them or we didn't promise them anything. But their lawyers approached this representation that if it's possible that their clients be offered immunity and they're testifying here before this hearing. I agree that it's very reasonable that they've stated before me that they want to cooperate with the drug war against illegal drugs of President Duterte, and that they believe that this anomalies, this illegal drug trade in the Philippines should stop, and they wanted to cooperate. So at the very least, I believe that whatever they tell here, I believe that they should be given immunity. So what I did, Your Honors, is that we prepared papers for their immunity only for what they are going to testify before this hearing. In other words, whatever they will testify, we led them to believe that whatever they testify here, that could not be used against them. So I appeal to the honorable members of the committee that these witnesses be given immunity, and with the endorsement and recommendation of the chairman of the Committee on Justice and the approval of by the speaker, I believe that the same should first be issued.
Precisely, Mr. Chairman, I asked the question because as the chairman of the Committee on Rules, we have the law, Republic Act 6981, which provides the mechanism as to how these people will avail of the Witness Protection Act or the benefits of that act. Now, if that is the case and their testimony will be based on the grant of such immunity, we have to dispose that matter first because it has to be approved by the Speaker. We saw in what happened in the Senate where a hearing there, they presented a witness, and after the hearing, the chairman or the former chairman of that committee then asked the Senate President for acceptance into the, or inclusion into the witness protection program of the government, but the Senate President denied the request. So I suggest, Mr. Chairman, that we do it properly. If there is such a formal manifestation that they need such immunity, then this body should now vote whether to recommend to the Speaker
the grant of such immunity under Section 4 of the Republic Act 6981, and I'll read. It says there in Section 4 of the law, witness in legislative investigations. In case of legislative investigations in aid of legislation, a witness with his express consent may be admitted into the program upon the recommendation of the legislative committee where his testimony is needed, when in each judgment there is pressing necessity therefore, provided that such recommendation is approved by the President of the Senate or the Speaker of the House of the Representatives, as the case may be. So in this instance, we have to dispose of that matter first, because otherwise all of this alleged testimony may not come into play. So are you now formally asking the committee for the grant of such immunity,
Mr. Chairman, I fully agree with the majority floor leader, and we ask that the majority floor leader move that this witnesses here, inmates, be given immunity before this the hearing of this committee.
Chairman, since we were furnished last night, I was furnished by the Committee on Justice the copies of these affidavits, although they're still affidavits, and as we know, affidavits are hearsay until they are testified into by the person with cross-examination. So I think the extension or the grant of such immunity to them is necessary. So I move that the committee recommends to the Speaker that these witnesses will be afforded the protection under Section 4 of Republic Act 690.
Mr. Chair, before we go,
Just before the Vice Chair, Congressman Roque raises his hand first.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Just for the record, I would like to mention the names of individuals who should be given testimonial immunity. Juvencio Ablen, Rafael Ragos, Joel Capones, Jaime Pacho, Herbert Culanco. I think those are the 6 individuals testifying today.
You only mentioned 5.
Okay, Ragos, Culanco, Magleo, Martinez, Ablen, and Pacho are 6 testifying today.
Do you confirm this, Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Vice Chairman John.
Yes, I just follow through with the motion of our good majority floor leader. Given the names of those applying for immunity, may we know also from the good secretary the extent of the testimony? Are they all inmates? Because
No, Your Honor, only 4 of them are inmates, and the 2, Ragos and Ablen, are still with the NBI.
okay, are you also testifying now, Mr. Secretary?
We are planning to present the 6. The others, because I believe that we will lack time, Your Honor. They were left at their detention cells.
With that particularity, Mr. Chair, I would like to join the motion of the majority floor.
There is a motion and a second, but before we dispose of this issue, Your Honor.
Yeah, Congress. Clarificatory question lang. Does immunity equate to witness protection also? Because I think other than immunity, they will also need the witness protection program if they wish to avail.
That is...
If I'm clarifying if it's by them availing of the immunity, does it equate to also them having avail of the witness WPP right away?
That is the prerogative of the Secretary of Justice. We have different immunities, and WPP is a program under the Department of Justice, and they have the mandate to likewise also admit any witness into the WPP. So my question is, in fact, I'd like to ask Secretary Aguirre, have they not been admitted into your program, or are you contemplating on admitting them into your program?
For the information of Your Honors, they have all, the 6 have all been admitted to the Witness Protection Program of the Department of Justice.
So I think that is a more stronger protection that can be afforded to them. In fact, I do not know if we still need this legislative immunity that we will seek this committee and the speaker. So they have all been admitted into the program. Then I guess that would suffice, Mr. Secretary.
Actually, it is not exactly correct. Because before this is only a provisional admission. So that the admission will be complete, we need the recommendation of the chairman of this committee and the approval by the speaker.
So your witness, your immunity that you will grant is really subject to this particular provision of the WPP, and not the regular witness protection granted under the mandate of
That's right, Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Salo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just a clarificatory question, Your Honor. Will there be no determination first on the participation or culpability of this particular persons requesting for immunity, in as much as if they appear to be the most guilty at the end of the day, everybody becomes immune, and whom are we going to prosecute or be held accountable later on?
Mr. Chairman, hindi po pinakailangan yun sapagkat dito wala pa po tayong kaso. So, wala pa tayong...
As may I explain to the gentleman, yung most guilty applies only to discharge of witness, of the accused. Wala pa naman makikis dito. This is Witness Protection Act. So, okay na yun.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just clarifying, as much as if we already grant them blanket immunity, then at the end of the day, the government has already stopped from any filing of a criminal case later on against them.
This is only immunity from their testimonies in this legislative inquiry. Mr. Chairman, Congressman Garvin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since the aforementioned witnesses, Mr. Chairman, I've heard they have already prepared a written statement before they testify to this committee, and under the rules, within 48 hours, they have to furnish the committee secretariat of this affidavits or written statement, Mr. Chairman. May we know, Mr. Chairman, if members of this committee can be furnished with the affidavits in order to guide us accordingly before we grant this immunity?
Yes, in fact, we requested Secretary Aguirre to prepare sufficient copies for distribution to the members of the committee to save on time.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we prepared 100 copies, sufficient copies. So if there's any members of the committee na wala pang...
I think all the members, Mr. Chairman, should be furnished with that affidavits.
May I know from the COMSEC if they have this, they're not distributing. So,
Mr. Chair, there is a pending motion duly seconded, so can we not proceed with the ruling of the chair so that we can go ahead with the presentation of the witnesses by the Department of Justice?
Second, Your Honor.
thank you for that.
Mr. Chairman, clarification, please.
Deputy Speaker.
As we understood from the explanation of the majority leader, the approval of the immunity by this committee, by the members of this committee, is only recommendatory. It is the signature of the speaker that will be the operative act that will make the immunity recommended by this committee operative. Now, if we approve it now, being recommendatory, and we will allow the witnesses to testify now, are we not endangering these witnesses?
It's a chicken and egg matter, because for them to testify, the lawyers, as manifested by the Secretary, is wanting to secure this immunity. And, I believe in the wisdom of the Secretary. They have passed upon all of these affidavits. They have worked on these witnesses, and I would like to think that they did this in accordance with the rules on, and if we apply the rules on regularity, then we can, in the sense of the chair, I think this is a matter that can be dispensed with. After all, we have yet to hear the testimonies, and I'm almost certain all of the members of this committee would like to hear what these witnesses would testify on. So anyway, I hear no objection except comments. So there is a motion. It has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Mr. Chairman, my question is not yet being clarified. I need a clarification in the question.
This is recommendatory. We will vote upon whether or not we will recommend to the Speaker the grant of immunity pursuant to Section 4 of the law. And as clarified by the Secretary of Justice, this is a prerequisite to the grant of immunity by the Department of Justice at the proper time. So I hope I have clarified the matter with Your Honor.
In amplification of that, Mr. Chairman, if our approval here is condition precedent to granting the immunity, will it now be timely for us to ask these witnesses to testify even prior to the signature of the Speaker?
Mr. Chairman, to pacify the Deputy Speaker, President, let's vote on it now, then I'll bring it to the Speaker and get the definitive action of the Speaker, whether he will approve it or not. So we have to do this first so that we can get the result.
And we will have to do it first before we proceed with the testimony.
Of course.
That is the clarification I was waiting, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you for that. May I recognize also Vice Chair
Mr. Chairman, I was about to say this before the Honorable Majority Leader came up with this view. We must remember that one of the principal authors of Resolution 105 is no less than the Speaker himself. I cannot imagine the Speaker denying the request of the lawyers and the witnesses, that the witnesses be immune in whatever testimony they will give before this body. But just the same, since the Majority Leader already assured the Deputy Speaker that he will be going straight to the Speaker and seek the approval, then we may as well now vote on it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. There has been a motion. It has been duly seconded. There being no objection, the same, this request or letter requesting the Speaker for immunity for the 6 witnesses named by Honorable Roque is hereby approved.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Speaker Abu.
For the record, Mr. Chairman, showing fairness and partiality by the committee, na-mention na yung pangalan ni Secretary De Lima. And for the record, Mr. Chairman, the Office of Secretary De Lima received the invitation coming from this committee by Miss Laika Marcelo. So, and on this letter, paragraph 2, it read as, in this regard, we are inviting you as the former Secretary of the Department of Justice to attend the meeting of the committee on September 20 and 21, 2016, 9:30 a.m., Conference Room 3 and 4, Mitra Building, House of Representatives, Quezon City, to shed light on the matter and to assist the committee in its inquiry. So, pinakita natin yung fairness, pinakita ng committee yung fairness. She invokes yung inter-parliamentary courtesy and personally, Mr. Chairman, a manifestation that ang tamang kortesiya na maibigay natin sa kasamahan natin sa isang co-equal chamber ay magkaroon siya ng lugar kung saan mapapasubalian niya kung ano man ang mga bagay na madidiscuss dito. Yun ang pinakamagandang kortesiya na maiibigay sa kung sino man ang mababanggit na pangalan dito.
Okay, lakarin mo ito. Itong pangalan. Sabihin mo doon kung magkano nila. So, si Susan, si Ma'am Susan is, yan po ang may paraan din po. So, sabi, sige, 500,000, ibabalik natin sa maximum. So, ito naman ito, kasi ako po hindi siya.
Hindi mo na, linawin natin. Medyo pinangkin mo si Baraan. Ano?
Baraan at sa
Sino po si Baraan ito?
si Baraan po ay Undersecretary, Yusik, I believe.
Yusik ng Department of Justice. Ngayon, binanggit mo siya. Ano mo nga kung ano yung sinasabi mong transaction? Linawin mo, medyo inaan mo lang ang pagkwento mo para naintindihan natin.
Okay. Si Susan at Baraan, pang mga itapon, ibalik, sila po ang pwede i-transact po doon, bayaran, para sila po ibahala doon.
Mati mo na. Sino yung sususan? Ano yung paraan yan?
Parang pag-alimbawa, kay Baraan, si Susan ang harap pag-transact, pagtanggap ng pera.
Ngayon, may transaction, pera. Anong pera? Anong transaction ito?
Tulad na po yung sinabi ko kanina po, Your Honor, yung Chinese, yung tao na yung Pilipino, yung medyo ibalik sa maximum, humingi po sila ng 500,000. So ngayon, kinausap
sa kanino sila humingi pag pinatransfer mo ang isang presyo from medium to maximum? Kanino sila humingi?
Hindi po. Yun nga po, ang problema ng Chinese, yung tao na gusto niya ibalik ang tao. So,
Sa maximum?
Maximum, kasi nandun sa medium. Kasi hindi man pwede kung yung numbers mo, ang sitting term is number 6 years, 7 years, hindi ka pwede sa maximum po. So, kailangan pira-pirahin mo para si Baraan, si Susan ang bahala, si Ma'am Susan ang bahala para pabalik, para makapunta ng maximum. So, ang ginawa ko naman ito, pag sinabi 500,000 doon, sinasabi ko naman sa Chinese 800,000. So, may kita din ako 300,000.
Si Susan ay hindi ba yan ay nasa DOJ, empleyado ng DOJ?
Opo, nasa technical po.
As a matter of fact, nandun pa yan ang tunaw sa amin?
Hindi ko alam po at nakakalam sa lahat doon sa mga Baraan, Susan, Mamlits, ang kabuuan pagkatao nila nakakalam ating
Okay, ipaliwanag mo yung maliwanag. Paano kumikita yung sinaparaan?
Doon po sa mga sample.
Sample yan.
Kolonya po. Tulad na yung linapit sa akin. Yung Chinese magbibigay ng 3 million. Yung galing kolonya sa Mindoro ba yun? So, pwede yun. 3 million. Tapos, 3 million hingi nila. Sabi ko mas Chinese 4 million. So, kumita ko 1 million. Ang problema nila natuloy doon kasi umarang doon may spiriting din niya. Parang hindi nabigyan. Hindi rin siya problema. Ganun ba yun? Time episode po.
So, iba pinagkikitaan yung transfer, mag-transfer ng mga
Yan po
emails.
ang pinakaano ni opisina ni Barangko. Noon po, matagal na yun po. Ganun ang lahat. Marami na po yung owner. Makunang ka rin. unang baril, Your Honor, tapong gagalamin yun. So, itutuloy niya nila. Siyempre, proseso pa yan, mga 1 month bago gagawin niya. So, pag may manalagyan mo ng 500,000 doon sa office ni Baraan, kay Susan, sa technical, ay hindi na ka nabiyahe. Standby ka na lang ng medyo, pero hindi ka muna makabalik sa maximum. Ganun po ang ano.
Gusto ba nila sa maximum kaysa sa medyo?
Kasi po ang maximum ay Las Vegas po. Ang sa totoo lang po ay gusto ko lang malaman ng buong sambayan ng Pilipino sa buong Pilipinas. Ang maximum po ay noong nandiyan na po ako sa maximum ay ginawa ko talaga ng parang Rose Boulevard. Lahat, kahit walang dalaw, ito po, sabihin ko na lang po sa inyong lahat, sampung model, pinabayaran ko ng 25,000 sa labas. Sabi ko, Ray, magkano lahat yun? 25,000, maganda ba? Maganda. Picture mo. Pagpasok ng picture, papasok mo yun dito sa maximum, binibinta ko po ng 75,000. Mayroon ko akong hotel na parang this house po, aircon, may kama, may shower, kompleto po. Ganun po, siyempre po, obligado po sa 3,000 at 3 million naman. Gagawa rin po ako ng diskarte, minsan magkulang yung pagkolekta ko. Ako po magkagulong. Lahat po gagawin ko po rin sa loob ng maximum para siyempre kung magkulang man, ako po gagawin.
Yan sa mga kinikita mo yan, mayroon bang pinagbibigyan? May binibigyan ka?
Secretary, si Director Bukay is 1.2 million amount po yun. November 2013, nag-umpisa po ako nagbibigay. Nauna po si Secretary October 2013. Si Director Bukay is 2013 November po siya. Nag-umpisa po. At tinatawag po ka ako ni Director Bukay at nag-uusap din po kami. At sa iyong sablan niya si Colonel Ini. Pinatawag niya po kayo sa taas, unang upo niya. Napakilala siya. Okay, pinatawag ko siya, ako chairman. So, sabi niya sa akin, chairman, ang gusto ko lang, walang gulo ha, kasi kakapo lang. Kailangan pisan mo. Sabi ko na, Director, okay, Director, walang problema. Pisan order dito, walang gulo, walang away, walang patay. So, mga ilang months po, pinatawag ako ulit at nag-uusap po kami doon sa ADCO office. Nagtaka ko po ako, may opisina man siya, kasi opisina lang, nandyan po si YC Ragos, alam mo po opisina nila doon, malaki yun. Nagtaka ko, doon ako pinapasok sa ADCO office, yung assistant tawag doon, assistant director, doon kami nag-usap. At inuwanan po kami ng isang superintendent at nag-close door po kami, sabi, Sir, good morning. Robert, alam mo naman, kakaupo ko lang ilang months. Alam mo naman, tulungan mo ako. Kasi maraming gagastusin. Ilang months pa ako po. Sabi ko, Sir, wala problema, sir. Ako bahala. Sige, bahala na kayo na mag-usap ni Colonel Ili, yung bangka ko. Sige, sir. Titingnan ko, sir, kung magkano ma-release natin kaya, sir. Sa ano, sir. Sige. Thank you kayo. Salamat rin ito. Pasensya na. Kasi alam mo ilang lang si medyo bago lang ako ng Yoko, director. Yun.
So yung sinabi mong binibigay mo kay Secretary De Lima, kasama na yun yung 3 milyong binibigay mo, doon na yan. O iba?
Iba po ito kang Secretary De Lima, 3 milyon. Yung 1 milyon, every concert ng big event, big concert ko is 1 million sa Berlingkan. Ito naman kang Bukayo ay pinakulikta ko rin sa mga side ko sa mga big time landlords, sa big time inmates. 1.2 million po ang buwan din po kay Director Bukayo. Ang tumatanggap po sa 1.2 million po, Your Honor, si Colonel Ili. Ang magbibigay po sa pera sa labas po kung saan sila makita sa McDonald's, dyan po. Ito po si Renanti Diaz, ang aking talent manager po, Your Honor.
Mr. Secretary, mahaba po tayo dito. We still have 4 other witnesses.
I-advance ko na po. Tingnan mo yung paragraph 7, 6 ng iyong affidavit. Nagkasundo kayo na magbebenta ka ng shabu. paano ang detalye itong kasunduan ninyo?
Okay po. So, yung instruction po ni Sir Junel na pundo para 2015 ni Secretary De Lima, 2016 election, ang sabi niya sa akin, kung ilan kaya. Yung membro ko, ang kaya na po is 5 kilos per 2 weeks po. So, 10 kilos sa isang buwan po. Ang halaga po noon, ang bigyan ng presyo nila po ay 1.7 po. Binibigay ko po sa akin mga membro po. At sila nang bahala doon, yung pera po pinapapasok doon sa mga dawa papunta sa loob. At ito naman po ay kinukuha po ni Junel Sanchez.
Tapos ng ikapitong paragraph, sinabi dito na nag-usap ng buwan ng November 2014, ay kinausap ka ni Jonel Sanchez, i-centralize ang operation.
Okay.
Anong nangyari doon?
Itong sa November po, uminit na po ako at ginagawaan ako ng matrix po. Naka-matrix na po ako. Ako dahil rekta po ng China. Ako ng financer ng mga Chinese. Ako po hindi naman, ako po financer ng Chinese. At naka-matrix po ako. Nandun ako si Papa ng time ni De Lima. So, ginawaan na pinag-isahan ako nilang Colonel Cardinio at ni G.B. Sebastian. At meron pa silang connection sa si Colonel Cardinio, nagyayabang at may connection pa sila doon sa PECC. So, yun, may matrix po ako at sinabi niya sa akin na, Chairman, mainit ka na. Yun itong gawin. Kasi November na ngayon. Next, malapit na po sa 15. Kailangan ng pundo talaga. Sure na ito manalo. Si Ma'am. Para sa ating to lahat. So, sabi ko po ni Sir Junior, ano po, ganito pong gawin, kukuha ka ng 30 kilos ng mga big, kasi maraming Chinese mo itong mga big time, halos nandito sila, po. Kunan mo na pinagawin 30 kilos to 50 kilos. Pagkatapos ng kuha, ititix mo kay Roy, ititix mo sa akin, yung full name ng Chinese para itapon natin. So, alam mo, pag makuha ko yung 50 kilos, ipo-forward ko yung pangalan ng buo para itapon agad. Sila nabala ni Sir Romy Dayan, ni Secretary De Lima. Ganun po. At ang sabi ko po, pag-isipan ko po yun. Huwag ka naman, sabi ko, pag-isipan, siyempre, isip ko, imposible naman po, kung hindi ko ito pa rin utos ni tatapon ako nga, meron akong 3 milyon buwan-buwan at yung big-event ko pa ng 1 million, big-event na show ko po ay 1 million. So, hindi ko pala nakala ko binaglampan ko o tinatakot. So, marisip mo talaga nakatotoo. December 15, talagang kinuha kami, madaling araw, nireto kami. Kinuha. Tapos, pag nandun kami sa Superintendent Office, may doon, siyempre, masakit sa aking kalooban, no? So, grabe naman to. Grabe, hindi na kontento pa sa 3 milyon. Siguro, gusto pa mas sigit pa, no? So, grabe utos na sa akin 50 to 30 kilos. Isipin mo yan kung wala na sa Dilimas Director. Ako naman balikan dito sa Chinese, istampa ang lapas noon. Hindi mo babayaran. Itatapon mo kung wala na sila. Inuutos sa Chinese, papatayin ako ng 15 milyon na din. Wala din ko magawa. Di mahal ko kung buhay. Hindi ako pumayado. So, may yung nandun namin sa Superintendent Office para kami mga basahan na pinupulot doon at linagay doon sa Superintendent Office. May dumanang nakabarong. Sabi ko, sir, hindi pa makausap si Secretary De Lima. Sabi mo, sir, si Kulangko. Ang apelido ko talaga, Kulangko. Magkulangko na ako kasi lagi tinatawag ko. Gusto nila Peter ko, Tony ko, Kulangko. Ari, Kulangko. Sige, Chinese. Kulangko naman ako. Bakit lagi kong Kulangko? Sige, Kulangko, Chinese na rin ako. So sabi ko, si Kulangko po, sir. Sabi na, okay. Maya-maya mga 1 minute o 1 minute and 1 minute nila, pinatawag ako. Siyempre, pinatawag ako din sa conference room. Sa 19 po kami, nandun sa Superintendent Office, tinatawag na ko doon sa conference room. Ang mga kasama niyo doon yung mga bureau at mga baligan. Nandito po, no? Ito po, Your Honor. Nandito po sa Lima, nasa left side po po. Nasa left side po po. Sabi niya, ganun po siya. Sit down daw. Sit down. Sabi ko po, dito si Secretary De Lima po. Sabi ko, sabi niya, ma'am, pwede ba rin ngayon, yung security, baka ka marinig. Sige na, ibulong mo na, bulong ko na. Sabi ko, bulong ko na, ma'am, yung instruction ni Rumidayan, kay Junay po, payag na pagulungan na ko yun. Ang sagot po niya po sa akin, got it, sabi ko, ma'am, thank you po. Nandito po si De Lima, left side po po. Ma'am, thank you po. Sabi niya, okay, ganun siya. Pagtayo ko po, Your Honor, one step, two step, nandito na po ko, at lumingon po siya. Herbert. Sabi na, Herbert, temporary ka lang muna doon. Sa 19 kami, ako sinasabi, temporary lang muna ako doon. So isip ko po, 2 to 3 days ako, babalik na ko ng magsinong. Natuloyan pa po, hindi na ko binalik. Mas na po kasi dahil hindi na ko binalik, sinulo na ni GB lahat, si Sebastian, ang aking area sa carcel side. Lahat. Yun po ang nangyayari po.
Ngayon, anong sinabi mo sa Bisaya De Lima? Sinabi mo kay De Lima, binulong mo kay De Lima, ma'am, yung instruction ni Ronnie Daya kay Junel, payag na po ako, huwag ninyo lang akong ipatakot. Ano ba yung instruction na yan?
Yung sinasabi ni Sir Junel sa akin, Sir, mainit ka na, naka-matrix na ako. Sige, ganito gawin mo. Kuha ka na muna kami, Sir Ronnie Daya ng bahala, kay ma'am. Gitong gawin mo. Para po 2015 election, 2016. Kuha ka kunan mo mga Chinese kasi malaki ang area mo at halos lahat mga 15 loss na sa'yo. 30 to 50 kilos kunin ko po. Istapa ko yung pagkuha sa 50 or 30 kung punahin po ko doon, hindi na ba tayo itatapon ng tao sa kolonya kung saan Iway, Mindoro, ganun po yung Sambuanga. Pero ang problema, pag wala na siya ganitong bukas Lima, ako naman hanapin Chinese. So oo, isabi ko, pag-isipan ko lang. Pero kung hindi ko nagsasabi pag-isipan na katulad yung kay JP nga payag na rin, ay hindi ko natatapon. Siyempre, malaking area ko. So, yun po.
So, ano pagkaintindi mo ng gatit?
Yung gatit po, parang ang pagkaintindi ko po, kopya, parang kopya. Nakuha niya. Kasi minsan naman po hindi man ko lahat, meron naman ako alam sa English, pero bilang lang po. Bilang lang po. Yung gatit, na kasi lagi ko panood sa TV, meron gatit, ganun.
So, akala mo, sandali ka lang sa NBI?
Opo, kayo pag sinasabi na, Robert, temporary ka lang muna doon. Thank you po, ma'am. Umalang pa ako sa kanya. May CCTV po. Thank you po. Siyempre, secretary po yun eh.
Ilang araw kang inabot doon?
8 months po. 8 months po. Tapos yung attorney namin po, bago nakapasok, hindi siya gusto makapasok. Ako doon, hindi man gusto siya makapasok ang abogado na dapat may sasabihin po ako. Tulad na po yung sinabi yung doon sa kuryente. Masakit sa aming kalooban dahil po kami dahil magnakaw ng kuryente. Sa totoo po, Your Honor.
Question.
Can we wind up?
Dalawang question na yan. Okay. Nung ibinilik ka sa NBP, saan ka dinala?
Sa building 40 po.
Mula sa NBI?
Building 40 na po. Hindi na po binalik sa maximum po.
Bakit?
Kasi po, nandun si GP, kami, ang plano kasi ni De Lima, hanggang sa matapos ang eleksyon, kailangan building 14 po kami. Pero kaso lang, yung si River Cruz, yung pinaupo ni former President Benigno Aquino, ay hindi naman sa kanyang director na yun kasi nagsusumbong din po ako tungkol daw sa resibo na sa kuryente ng Bucor na sabi daw mga preso, itong mga preso ako ay nagnakaw pa ng mga kuryente, gumamit ng kuryente daw kami sa Bureau of Correction. Hindi po, may puntador po kami sarili at nagbabayad po kami ng kuryente. Mahal po kuryente sa Bilibid, siguro times 2 ba? Ang moral ko yan, wala ka natin, 1 peso. Ang moral ko, ang doon sa Bilibid, 2 pesos.
Kanino ba yung babayan?
Doon po sa, sa opisina ng Bucor dito. May resibo po kami.
Okay, sinama ba si Gulangko si JB Sebastian sa NBI?
Ay, hindi po. Iyan po ang dana na reklamo. Si JB po, yun po ang pinakamalaking drug lord sa buong kulungan. Bakit po? Kasi po, siya po nauna sa akin at malapit po siya kay Secretary De Lima. Lahat po ng Chinese ng drug lord ng buong Pilipinas ay sumusunod sa kanya. Siya po ay hindi ganala dahil po ay tao po siya ni Secretary De Lima at ni Ronnie. Lalo na ni Ronnie Dayan ay lagi pumupunta po sa area nito.
Mr. Chair, that would be all.
So before that, Mr. Secretary, yung capability to really conduct in-depth investigation is within your powers and mandate. Nasa inyong NBI, nasa inyong iba pang mga ahensya to conduct a deeper investigation on this. So I would urge you para bumilis po tayo, 2 buwan lang ang allocation natin for this. Yung mga ibang sinabi po ng witness na ito, kayo na po magpalawig ng investigasyon para po dulog nyo rin dito sa amin, and then that will facilitate our work on this. No? So we will now proceed to the next witness.
Mr. Chairman, before we temporarily dispense with the witness, may I request the chair that since Congresswoman Gwen Garcia has confirmed that the number appearing in her telephone is the same number as stated and mentioned by the witness, may I move that the committee secretary be directed to see the number appearing in the telephone number of Congresswoman or Deputy Speaker Gwen Garcia to see whether it matches with the number stated by the witness for the record and for whatever purpose it may serve.
Concept is comply. So,
At yun dun lang sa mga pinasabipina kanina, ang dami kasing pinag-uusapan na pumapasok, lumalabas. Tingin ko kailangan na isulpina yung in charge sa entry and exit ng tao at ng gamit sa Bucor. Yung head ng whatever department or agency that handles the entry and exit of Bucor. Suggestion lang, Mr. Chairman.
thank you for that. In fact, yun yung the point that the chair is trying to drive at, that under the control and supervision ng Department of Justice to. So, pakibigay sa amin itong mga detalye na ito para hindi na kami magpasubina kung kakailanganin lang yung testimonya nila to establish certain facts and substantiate some of the testimonies here. Mas madadali po tayo rather than subpoena them and go to the process.
Just to remind, Mr. Golango mentioned about certain important personalities like Jonel Sanchez. May we know from the Secretariat if he's included in those persons to be subpoenaed. So with Colonel Eli, who allegedly receiving as the middleman of Director Bukayo.
What is your motion?
That they be included in those persons to be subpoenaed. Susan and Yusek Baran, Colonel Eli, and the one who allegedly is the talent manager of Herbert, Mr. Ray Diaz, who was allegedly the one giving the money to Junel and depositing to Palawan and Lulier.
If this is not covered by the investigation as yet of the Department of Justice, then
yes, those personalities mentioned, Mr. Chair. This is a motion that I be included. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Before
Before seconding, Your Honor, there is one personality whom we have not mentioned so far. I'm not even sure if we invited him. Ronnie Daya. Ronnie Daya, may I know from the committee secretary if he was invited for today's hearing?
No, not yet. You know, this is really, we're expecting the Department of Justice to lay the predicate for this investigation, and whatever is not covered, that is the time that the committee will take action. And so, to the extent that, you know, the Secretary of Justice can obtain all of these of the testimonies of these witnesses, we would urge the committee and the Secretary of Justice to do so. And for those that the Secretary of Justice is finding it difficult to call and conduct its own investigation, then that is the time that the committee will entertain and cover them. So this is just really to facilitate everything, because this issue is too controversial for us to be able to really cover all grounds. And so this is the reason why we had requested the Department of Justice to lay the facts and that this is the same that we will try to establish in this committee.
Your Honor, I support the motion for issuance of subpoena, provided that it be amended to include Ronnie Dayan, Your Honor.
There is a motion duly seconded that a subpoena be issued to these personalities, of course subject to approval by the Speaker. So, shall we now proceed to the next yes.
Mr. Chairman, may I now know whether the corporate secretary has complied with the directive of the chair to see the telephone number for appearing in the telephone of Deputy Speaker Garcia, purportedly belonging to Secretary De Lima.
May we know, Mr. Chair, may we know also from the Deputy Speaker, when was the last time she called that number? Text or call that number?
I have it on record here. This is the first time that I called the number. I probably got this number a long time ago when I was still governor of Cebu, because I recall that she had gone to groundbreaking of ours on an NBI building that we were going to construct, but I never called her. And so, per record, what is recorded here are the times that I called her, I think 4 times this very afternoon.
When? 4 times this afternoon.
Yes.
Anyway, the matter has been complied with according to the COMSEC, and Secretary Aguirre, may we remind you to address your, except on the direct examination of the witness, please address all of your requests and all matters that you want to raise to the chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, may we hear the manifestation of the committee secretary as to her findings on what number appears in the telephone number of Deputy Speaker Garcia.
Your Honors, I made the comparison of the numbers given by the witness, Mr. Polanco, and those of the numbers given by Honorable Gwen Garcia, and thus the numbers appearing in the cell phone, the two cell phones of Honorable Garcia match with the number given by witness Polanco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the action and statement of the Secretary.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, one more thing. There was this what we called receipt earlier, the ML earlier receipt, which was mentioned by Polanco. That
Which was provisionally...
I would like to remind you, Secretary.
Yeah, we will do that.
Thank you. So we now proceed to the next witness. Sino ba si...
We are calling on Deputy Director Rafael Racos.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, Sir.
Yes, before the Secretary Boy again will proceed to question the witness to our left. Because when he was asking the witnesses in front of him, Secretary Boy, the five of them, whether they would accept the immunity on the condition that they will tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Si Sec Boy, Mr. Chairman, nakaharap doon. Yung dalawa po dito, hindi sila sumagot. So unless that they give their testimony, they will be apprised of this, the immunity, and which will whether they'll accept it or not. Maybe Sec Boy can, maybe you can ask them again.
Anyway, just to abbreviate...
maybe we can ask them to answer whether they accept it or not.
Witnesses you know, there was a question posed by Secretary Aguirre. Did you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your response to it?
Mr. Chair, before we will proceed, instead of Deputy Director Racos who will testify first ahead of witness Ablin, I have read their affidavits and I think it will be more in order if Mr. Ablin will be presented first, then followed by Deputy Director Racos.
Secretary, are you amenable to it? If unless you have in your case strategy different...
Mr. Chair, I decided to examine Mr. Racos ahead because his statement is very short. But if that is the request of the Honorable Ominal, I'm amenable.
Okay, so we will now proceed with the direct testimony of witness Ablin.
Mr. Chairman, maybe we can ask Mr. Ablin too if he accepts the offer. Because he wasn't able to give his answer earlier.
Do you accept the conditions in the immunity under the Witness Protection Act mentioned by the Secretary?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can we please request the witness to take this seat? And may we request Director Racos to be excluded anyway. You are not a security check.
Dennis, are you assisted by counsel? Do you have a counsel?
Sure.
So, you can now proceed, Mr. Secretary.
With the permission of the chair,
Please proceed.
Ginoong Novencio Ablen Jr. Will you please state your name and other personal circumstances?
My name is Novencio Ablen Jr. Of legal age with postal address at National Bureau of Investigation, sir, Tapa, Bini. I am presently employed as Intelligence Agent 1 since February of 1991. Your Honor.
What is your rank now?
Still Intelligence Agent 1. Your Honor.
As an NBI intelligence agent, what are your functions?
Among my other functions are intelligence gathering for illegal activities of syndicated groups such as US visa scam, video piracy, kidnapping, and prohibited drugs, among others, sir. Assisting in the investigation of cases handled by NBI investigative agents, including service of warrants and search warrants, doing undercover tasks such as surveillance work and pursuit buyer, among others, preparing intelligence report on assigned operation, and performing other tasks that may be assigned from time to time, Your Honor.
Did you undergo any special training?
Yes, Your Honor. I underwent police bomb technician course last 2007 and the post-blast investigation course last 2008, Your Honor.
In 2006, where were you assigned?
Your Honor, I was assigned at the newly created Anti-Terrorism Division, which was later on renamed Counter-Terrorism Division at the NBI camp, Your Honor.
How about in 2012?
Sometime in September 2012, our chief of the Counter-Terrorism Division, Raul Manguera, called several agents, including me, in his office. And then there, we were told that there is a request from the Deputy Director, Rafael Ragos. He is our Deputy Director for Controller Service, who, as far as I know, performing a function as an official officer in charge, Director of the Bureau of Corrections, sir. He requested for us to assist him in the investigation of the escape of one inmate by the name of Romel Nasiste, who was later on apprehended, but he escaped on August 15, 2012, Your Honor.
What did you do?
We assisted Deputy Director Ragos in the conduct of the investigation as whether or not there are some assistance extended to the said escapee by some bureau employees or officials. And on my part, I was tasked to gather intelligence information relative to his escape, Your Honor. It concluded after 2 weeks, and the final report was submitted by our head of the investigative team at that time, Your Honor.
What is your relation with Deputy Director Ragos when you were both in the NBI?
Yes, Your Honor. On my appointment on 1991 as intelligence agent, I was assigned at the Criminal Intelligence Division of our intelligence service wherein Deputy Director Rafael Ragos, who was then a supervising agent, and my immediate agent of case, or what we call my superior. And from then on, we have established a good rapport because I have been his assistant, and we have been working out so well with some cases assigned to him that I have earned his trust. And up to the present, we have been very close.
Is there any follow-up with respect to the post-blast investigation team of the CTV?
Yes, Your Honor. On the incident of grenade explosion, last November 16, 2012, again, we were requested by Deputy Director Ragos to assist him in the conduct of the post-blast investigation and further investigation as to some inmates who are suspected involved in that incident, Your Honor.
What happened to your investigation of these inmates?
Based on the results of the investigation, the type of explosives that was used there was an MK2 fragmentation hand grenade, Your Honor.
During the investigation, to whom do you report?
We report directly to Deputy Director Ragos, sir. We have been updating him on the progress and on the persons that we have already investigated on that grenade explosion incident, Your Honor.
Why do you report to him? What was his position then?
He was then detailed there, as far as we know, a temporary detail there as an OIC until November of 2012, Your Honor, that he was designated as the officer in charge of Philippine.
On November 22, 2012, did Ragos request you to do anything in connection with the raid of a certain Sang Lee Chua?
Yes, Your Honor. There was a Bucor operation at that time, and the NBI CTD, where I am included, who has been assisting Deputy Director Ragos, requested us to accompany him and assist him in that operation at Sang Lee Chua's Kubo.
Noong umaga ng November 24, 2012, did you have any contact with Director Ragos?
Opo, Your Honor.
Please narrate.
November 24, 2012. Umaga po yun, at around 8 o'clock. Tumawag po sa akin si Deputy Director Ragos at tinanong niya sa akin kung nasaan ako ng mga oras na yun. Sinagot ko po siya, sabi ko, nasa bahay lang po ako, sir. Sabi niya, dadaanan kita. Meron tayong important task na gagawin.
Pagkatapos anong napag-usapan ninyo, anong understanding ninyo?
Sumagot po ako, sabi ko, sige po, sir. So, after an hour, dumating po siya. Sumakay na po ako doon sa kanyang service vehicle, NBI organic vehicle. Yun po ay may plate number na RGU 910. Pagsakay ko po, nadinig ko po siya na may kausap sa cellphone at sabi niya, sir, sige po, papunta na po kami. So, sumakay po ako ron. At on the way, nung habang pabiyahe po kami, may sinabi po siya sa akin. Sabi niya, Nyor, confidential ito. He used to call me, Your Honor, either June, Junior, or Nyor. Ganun na po ang naging tawagan eh. At pamisa-misa naman, on a light moment, tawag ko naman sa kanya, Tito Rap. But, pag nasa office, sir po ang address ko sa kanya. So at that time, nung bumibiyahe na po kami, nagsalita siya, sabi niya, Nyor, confidential ito, tayong dalawa lang nakakaalam. may dadalhin tayong kota kay Lola.
Okay, sino yung lolang sinasabi niya? Nga.
I believe, kasi normal na po, wag naman po sanang magagalit yung ibang superior. Katulad sa amin, NBA director, usually ang practice namin, tinatawag namin lolo yan. Yung iba, ganun din po nakakagawa yan. So, naging common name or kung kami-kami lang po nag-uusap, si Secretary na-address namin Lola.
Sino secretary?
Secretary De Lima po.
Okay, so ano yung dadalhin niyo kay Lola?
Ang sabi po sa akin ni Deputy Director Ragos, may dadalhin tayong kota kay Lola, 5 milyon yan. Tignan mo.
Saan ba nakalagay yun? Yung 5 milyon na yun?
Meron po akong napagsimbag sa may harapan, passenger side ng sasakyan, na isang black handbag.
Pagkatapos,
Tinuro niya, sabi niya, tignan mo. So, ang ginawa ko naman po, sinilip ko. Binuksan ko yung zipper, tinignan ko, may bundles of 1,000 bills.
So, nung makita mo yung yan?
Sinara ko po, diretso na po ang biyahe namin.
Saan ba kayo magbabiyahe?
Nakarating po kami doon sa isang subdivision o village sa Parañaque.
By the way, saan kayo nanggaling? Saan kayo nakita?
Sa residence ko po, sa Manila area.
Saan yun?
Sa may along Estrada Street, malapit po sa Osmeña Highway.
Okay, so kayo ay pupunta sa Parañaque.
Opo.
Saan doon sa Parañaque?
Nalaman ko lang po, yung pupuntahan namin na Subway Village nung papasok na kami doon sa main road, tapos may gate. Binaba po ni Deputy Ragos, pagtapat namin doon sa guard sa may main gate, binaba po niya ang bintana, in-address niya lang yung guardia, Manoy, ganun lang po. Parang familiar na po sa guardia si Deputy Ragos. Kayo pala siya, sige po, tuloy na.
Anong address kung natatandaan mo?
Nakarating po kami doon sa bahay, Laguna Bay Corner, Subic Bay Drive.
Nang anong oras itong nakarating kayo?
At around 10 o'clock po ng umaga.
So, nung ginawa ninyo, nang kayo dumating na dun sa area na pupuntahan ninyo, sa Parañaque.
Sabay po kaming bumaba ng kotse ni Deputy Ragos, pero sinabihan niya ako, sabi niya, Jeremy, iwan ka na lang dito sa kotse. Tapos, inabot niya kinuha niya yung black bag doon sa side ko, sinara na yung pinto. Then, nung papalakad na po siya doon sa bahay, na patutunguhan niya, nandito po ako across the street. Nakita ko po rin sa isang gate, maliit, doon sa bahay, nakabukas na po, nakita ko si Ronnie Dayan.
So, nung makita mo, si Ronnie Dayan, anong nakita mong nangyari? Kung meron?
Nung malapit na po si Deputy Ragos, si Ronnie Dayan, inabot po niya yung black handbag. Tinanggap naman po ni Ronnie Dayan, pumasok na si Deputy Ragos, sinara yung pinto, tapos pumunta na po sila doon sa main door. Doon ko po nakita si Secretary De Lima, nakatayo, nag-aabang.
Nakita mo siya?
Opo.
Anong suit niya?
White collar duster po na pambahay.
Bakit mo na siya nakita mula doon sa kotse?
Yung baggage view ko po, Your Honor, mababa po yung bakod, tapos elevated po yung bahay. Kita naman po yung taong nasa loob.
So, nakita mo si Secretary De Lima?
Opo.
Kilala mo siya?
Kilala ko po.
Bakit mo siya kilala?
Siya po ang aming Secretary ng Department of Justice.
Tapos, pagkatapos na makita mo si Secretary De Lima, anong nangyari sa mga?
At around 30 minutes po, lumabas na po si Deputy Ragos ng bahay. Wala na po siyang dala. Sumakay kami sabay sa kotse. Pumunta na po kami sa View Course Director's Quarters.
Ito ba si Dayang ay kilala mo na? Kahit mo siya nakilala?
Every time po na, Your Honor, pumunta kami at nag-report sa Department of Justice, minsan pinagpatawag po kami ron. Siya po yung alam namin na close security ni Secretary De Lima. At siya naman po malimit sumayo po sa mga tao, katulad namin, sa kayo pupunta, sabihin namin, may appointment kami po Secretary, or pinatawag po kami ni Secretary De Lima. Kaya familiar na po sa amin ang mga.
Gano'ng katagal si Deputy Director Ragos sa loob ng bahay ni Secretary De Lima?
More or less po 30 minutes, lumabas na rin po siya.
And then, what happened? Pagkatapos ng lumabas, after 30 minutes,
Pumunta na po kami sa View Course Director's Quarters. Pero habang bumibiyahe po kami, again, Your Honor, pinapili naman po niya ako.
anong binibili niya?
Ang sabi po niya, Senyor, huwag ka maingay. Walang nakakaalam nito. At wala kang alam, wala kang nakita. So, sumagot po ako sa kanya. Sabi mo, di wala. Gumano na lang ako. Hindi na ako nagtanong, tumahimik ka na po.
After that delivery on November 24, meron ba kayong pangyayaring magkasama kayo ni Director Ragos sa area niyo?
Meron po. Nauli po yung pag-deliver December 15, 2012. Approximate ko po same time din ng umaga. Tumawag siya, the usual. Dinaanan niya rin po ako sa bahay. Napansin ko, pagsakay ko po, may isang plastic bag, yung common po na binibili natin sa grocery na white colored siya, may kalakihan. May nakabundle po ron, naka-packing tape naman, naka-tape lang po siya para hindi bubuksan.
Okay, anong sinabi sa iyo nung Director Ragos nung magkita kayo muli o nung nandun kayo? Sakay kayo sa kotse?
Nung pagbiyahin na po kami yung honor, ako na nagtanong kasi napansin ko na sa harapan ng pa ako eh. Tatanong naman yan, sir. Parang na-irritate siya. Pwede ko po sabihin yung eksakto sinabi niya.
Sabihin mo.
Nung tinanong ko siya, kuwata na naman yan, sir. So, nung na-irritate siya, medyo mataas ang boses. Ano pa nga ba? Tangina eh, sila lang meron. Parang irritated po siya at that time. So, hindi na ako umibo. Nagdiretso na lang po kami ng biyahe, hindi kami nagkikituan. Kasi medyo tumaas ang boses niya. Deputy Director ko siya, hindi naman ako pwedeng nagbiro.
And pagpatuloy ba kayo pupunta doon sa bahay?
Opo, nakarating po ulit kami doon sa bahay na yun, sa Laguna Bay, corner Subic Bay Drive. Siya bumaba rin ako sa passenger side. Pumasok siya, si Daya na lang po nakita ko sumalubong sa kanya.
Pagkatapos, ano nangyari? Nang sumunod na si Ronnie Daya?
Kaya inabot po yung nakabalot na box na yun, yung plastic bag. Inabot kay Ronnie Daya, sabay sila pumasok, tapos dumiretso sila sa loob ng bahay.
And then, what happened next?
Hindi naman po siya masyado nagtagal doon. Approximate 10-15 minutes, lumabas na rin po siya. Yung usual na gawin namin, pagkagaling doon, diretso na kami sa sa Director's Quarters sa Bino.
Noong 17 December 2012, around 10 o'clock in the morning, did you get an instruction from Director Ramos?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ano yung instruction niya? Ano yung utos niya?
Nandun po kami sa Office of the Director ng Bureau, doon po sa second floor. Pinatawag niya ako at binigyan niya ako instruction na patawag yung mga commanders at yung mga high-profile inmates.
Ano nangyari nun?
So, bumaba po ako kay Superintendent Ayala at nirelay ko po yung message ni OIC Ramos na ipatawag yung mga commanders at yung mga high-profile inmates. Dumating naman po yung mga yun na comply. After a few minutes, pinapunta po na yun sa conference room, second floor po, across the office of the director, kung nasaan si Deputy Director Ramos.
Meron ka bang kilalang isang Mr. Johan?
Nakilala ko lang po siya once, Your Honor.
Anong pangyayari na kilala mo siya?
Ano po yun, Your Honor? December 17, 2012 po, inutusan ako ni Deputy Ramos na may iminit po ako isang tao at may dala pa-Christmas daw po ni Mang Kiko sa kanya. Sabi niya, may tatawag sa iyo, binigay ko yung number mo sa kanya, mag-usap na lang kayo kung sa kayo makikita.
Sino ba itong si Mang Kiko?
Si Mang Kiko po, siya po yung sa pagkakalam ko caterer ng maximum ng Bureau.
So, pagkatapos bigay sa iyo yung pangalan yan, ano nangyari sa munod?
After 10 minutes, tumawag na po yung lalaki, nagpakilala siya si Johan at sabi niya, makita na lang daw po kami doon sa main road ng Katarungan Village, exiting Danari.
Nagkita ba kayo?
Opo.
Ano nangyari?
Una po akong dumating doon sa main road ng Katarungan Village. Tumawag po ulit siya, sabi niya, saan ka na? Sabi ko, nandito ako, nakaparada ako, ito yung sasakyan, yung organic vehicle na ginagamit namin ni Deputy Ramos. So, nung nakita niya ako, sabi niya, nakita. Pumarada siya doon sa may likuran na sasakyan namin. Tapos, bumaba po siya.
Tapos ano nangyari?
Nung tinanong niya ako, June, tinanong ko rin siya, Johan, sabi niya, may inabot po siya sa akin, isang small brown paper bag.
Gano'n kalaking paper bag?
Maliit lang po rito ng kaunti. Tapos may handle po siya. Sa loob po nun, merong maliit na karton na naka-gift wrap at white letter envelope.
Okay, pagkatanggap mo nun, ano nangyari?
Pagkatanggap ko nun, umalis na si Johan, tinawagan ko na si Deputy Director. Sabi ko, sir, natanggap ko na yung padala ni Mang Kiko, yung sinabi mo si Johan ng mga padala. Sabi niya, sige, pumunta ka rito sa... May pinapuntaan ako isang bahay doon eh. Kasi at that time, we was having lunch there with one of the Bucors staff. So, pumunta po kami ron. Ang kasama ko po noon, yung driver niya, pangalan, nakilala ko lang pangalan Noel.
Ano nangyari mo? Kay Dumanta?
Opo. Dumating po kami doon sa bahay ng kung saan doon si Deputy Ramos. Bumaba ko na sa sakyan, pinuntahan ko siya. Sinabi ko sa kanya, sir, nandun sa kotse yung padala, tinanong niya sa akin, ano yung binigay? Sabi ko, small brown paper bag, may maliit na karton na naka-gift wrap, parang sabi ko pa sa kanya, parang pabango yata yun, tsaka isang white letter envelope. Tapos sabi niya sa akin, bigyan mo sa akin yung envelope.
Anong ginawa mo?
Kinuha ko po sa sasakyan, binigay ko sa kanya yung envelope, naiwan po yung maliit na karton na nandun sa small brown paper bag.
Okay, noong January 4, 2013, justice ng umaga, kita ba kayo ulit ni Director Ramos?
Opo, Your Honor.
Anong pagkakataon?
Doon po sa office niya, doon sa office ng director, pinatawag niya nga po ako. At inutusan niya ako na ipatawag yung mga commanders at high-profile inmates doon sa maximum.
Anong nangyari? Ba't pinatawag sila?
Kakausapin niya daw po, Your Honor.
Naipatawag mo ba?
Opo. Through Superintendent Ayala, who was then the OIC ng maximum security compound, kasi kailangan i-inform ko sa kanya para siya yung magpatawag sa loob ng mga inmates kung sino man kailangan ipatawag. Tapos dumating po itong mga tao.
Sino yung dumating na yan?
Bali, Your Honor, 17 po yung dumating. Sila Froilan Trastisa, Commander ng Batang City Jail, si Herbert Ampang Colanco, Amin Coraton, Vic Mercado, Arman Agoho, Peter Co, Sam Lichua, Noel Martinez, Commander ng Jenny Ilocano Group, Aaron Chen, alias Masyao, Commander ng Batang Mindanao, Vicente Amsi, Raymond Dominguez, Norbert Anticuando, JB Sebastian, Commander po ng Komando, Ben Marcelo, Jerry Ponsalan, and Dexter Directo, Your Honor.
Okay, anong sinabi nasaksihan mo sinabi ni Director Ramos doon sa mga inmates na pinatawag mo?
Yes, Your Honor. Isa-isa po niyang pinatatawag sa akin, dinadala ko rin sa office niya, sa Office of the Director, and then, ang instruction niya doon sa mga commanders at high-profile inmate, sabi niya, simula ngayon, kung ano man yung mga concerns niyo, kung mga request kayo, kontakin niyo si June. Siya ang bali point man niyo, kunin niyo yung cellphone number niya. At effective that day, sabi niya may tara tayo 100 per week.
So, anong nangyari pagkatapos sa taraan ng 100,000 per week? 100,000?
Opo, per inmate per week.
Per inmate per week?
Opo.
Okay. Anong nangyari sumunod?
So, balikan na uli sa maximum yung 17. Then, in the afternoon, may mga tumawag sa akin at may mga nag-text.
Anong sinabi nila? Anong sinabi nila? Tawag, sa text, anong sinabi nila?
Yung mga tumawag sa akin, sir, patawag niyo ako. So, ibig po sabihin nun, indikasyon po yun na ready na sila.
Okay, so anong ginawa mo?
So, ang ginawa ko, pinatatawag ko. Like for example, yung on the afternoon of that same day na January 4, ito po yung mga naipatawag, na nagpatawag sa akin.
Sino yan?
Froilan Trastisa, Commander ng Batang City Jail, Herbert Ampang Colanco, Amin Boraton, Peter Co, Sam Lichua, Noel Martinez, Commander ng Jenny Ilocano Group, Aaron Chen, si Masiao, Commander po ng, alias Masiao, Commander ng Batang Mindanao, Ben Marcelo at Jerry Pusalan. Ito pong 10 na ito, sila po yung unang nakapag-comply na nagbigay po sa akin ng 100,000 each.
So, ano ang binigay ng mga inmates sa'yo? Nung sinabi nilang handa na sila dun sa kanilang medpotan? O tara?
Tara po. Ang tawag doon, may tara po. Yun po yung term nila, tara.
Anong ginawa nila?
Ang pera, normal practice na po yan, nakalagay po sa angpaw kung tawagin. Ito po yung pulang red Chinese envelope na malaki siya, na may mga gold characters, kung ano man yun, either dragon o kung ano man yung nakadrawing doon. Wherein, doon po, Your Honor, kasya po yung 100,000.
Okay, so anong ginawa mo? So ilan bali ang natanggap mo? Ilan ang kabuuan ng pera? Ilan ang natanggap mo?
Noong January 4, yung 10 unang nag-comply, kung susumahin niyo po, the sum total of it, na 100,000 each, lumalabas po ang total po is 1 million.
Sampu sila eh, no?
Opo. But every time na may inaabot sa akin, diretso kong binibigay kay Deputy Ramos.
So, naibigay mo ba ito kay Director Ramos?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anong ginawa pagkatapos mong bigay?
Doon po sa, after doon sa Office of the Director, umuwi po kami normally sa Director's Quarters. At doon, may mga pagkakataon, pabubuksan niya sa akin yung tinatawag na ampaw ko.
Meron bang binigay sa'yo?
Pagkabilang po, usually yan, pag nasa mood, abutan ako 5,000, abutan ako 10,000, pero may instruction.
Anong instruction?
Oh, ikaw na bahala sa mga bata, pakainin mo yung mga yan.
Sino yung batang yun?
Yung bako mo,
Doon po sa Director's Quarters, may 3 prison guard na on rotation ng duty nila. At meron din po 3 living out doon na nagsisilbing tagalinis ng Director's Quarters, tagaigi, taga-pamili, yung parang errand po sa mga tindahan.
How about the other high-profile inmates? What happened to the Tara which they're supposed to give you?
Usually po, Your Honor, pag may mga parating na tala, tatanungin naman po ako ni Deputy Director eh. Kasi meron po siya listahan. Sinasabi ko naman po kung sino yung nagbibigay, kung sino yung may nagpaparating. Pag tinatanong niya ako, o yung iba, sinasagot ko siya, yung iba daw, mag-iipon pa, magre-raise pa ng amount na 100. At pag ready na po, i-text na lang po ako o tatawag sila.
Nakapagbigay ba silang lahat na labing pito?
January, first week ng January 2013 hanggang third week ng January 2013 lang po ako nandun. But on that 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks, yung pong 10, normally naman 10 ang nakakapag-comply every weekend.
So, bukod dun sa pagkolekta ng tara, meron bang any special assignment na Deputy Director Ramos?
Yes, sir.
Ano yun?
Month of December 2012, ito po yung holiday season, ang maximum security compound, sabi nga po ni Deputy Director Ramos, in the spirit of Christmas, naging open. So, in short, sabi niya, kung may mga special request, ang inmate, kahit sino, approve yan. But the approval has to come from him. So, kung meron man pong mga request ang inmate, either sa pangkat o sa individual, sumusulat po sila, binibigay kay Superintendent Ayala, i-forward naman po sa akin at ibibigay ko kay Deputy Director Ramos for his approval. Kailangan po kasi may approval na may signature para pag ipinaba ko kay Superintendent Ayala, that indicates na approve yung request ng inmate.
Sino ba si Superintendent Ayala?
Sa pagkakaalam ko po, yung si Superintendent Ayala, siya po yung officer in charge ng maximum security company at that time.
Ano naman yung mga special request na yan?
Ang mga special request po ng mga inmates or ng pangkat, either construction materials para sa kubol nila, yung mga personal equipment nila, katulad ng electric fan o bagong kama o aircon, tapos yung mga rekado nilang, personal nilang rekado sa pagluluto, lalo po yung mga Chinese nationals na drug lords, at mga ibang personal nila necessities.
Ngayon, binabayagan ba yung mga special request na yan? Panahon yun?
Noong panahon po, noong buwan po ng December 2012, gaya nga po na sinabi ko, sabi nga ni Deputy Director Ramos, in the spirit of Christmas, payagan ko naman ang request. Kaya, ang nagkaroon lang po ng ng issue, kasi automatic naman po yun pag may request, may kapalit na yun, na token, kung tawagin, doon sa loob.
Ano ang nagbunsod sa iyo para ikaw ay magbigay ng testimonya sa investigation na ito?
Ito lang pong nakaraang Agosto, third week ng August, naka-receive po ako ng confidential information na tatrabahuin ako ng NBI Intelligence Service. And at that time, si Deputy Director Ramos, siya ho ang Deputy Director in charge ng Intelligence Service namin. Previous to that, nagkaroon na po ako ng death threat sa kanya Dahil, nung at that time na umaayaw na ako, gusto ko na bumalik sa mother unit ko from Bucor, ayaw niya, pinipigilan niya ako. At aaminin ko sa inyo, hindi ko naman talaga trabaho yung pinagagawa niya. Kaya gusto ko na kumalas na. From that day on, na gusto ko na umalis, nagalit na siya sa akin. And ito nga pong August, naka-receive ako ng information, reliable information na tatrabahuin ako ng intelligence service ng NBI.
Anong ibig sabihin mo pag sinabi mong ikaw ay tatrabahuin?
Sa term po ng law enforcement, ang terminology na tatrabahuin ka, either apply na search warrant, gawa ka ng kung ano-anong akusasyon na mali, or siguro plantingan ka, set up ka, plus pwede kang patayin sa kalsada.
Bakit nagkabi mo?
Ang pag-threaten o pagbibigay ng threat sa akin ng Deputy Director Ramos, nag-umpisa pa ho yan noong 2013. Simula na nagalit siya sa akin at pinagpantahan niya ako, papatayin niya ako. And at that time, may ginawa po ako narration, Your Honor, may ginawa po ako narration related doon sa mga illegal activities na nangyayari sa people.
Katapos mong gumawa ng narrations na yun, anong sumunod na nangyari?
Meron po kami common friends. I was introduced to Colonel Ray by a common friend kasi humingi na ako ng tulong noon na magkaroon ako ng maparating ko yung yung bali intel report ko kay Secretary at isusumbong ko na po sana si Ragos, no, si Deputy Director Ragos.
Isusumbong mo kanina?
Kay Secretary De Lima at that time. But, instead na ipatawag ako ni Secretary De Lima, yung letter ko, binigay niya po kay Deputy Director Ragos, in short, sinulong niya ako. Sabi ako, may sulat si Arnel, ano yan? Right then and there, nalaman kong nabasa ni Deputy Director Ragos kasi tinawagan niya po ako, galit na galit, minumura ako.
Katapos, anong sinabi niya?
Sabi niya sa akin, John, puntang na mo, bakit mo ginawa ito? Ba't ka sumulat? Bayayin mo to. Sinagot ko siya. Sabi ko, hindi ko babawiin yan. Sabi ko, hindi kita kayang labanan, maaaring mapatay mo ako, pero sisiguraduhin ko sa'yo, pag napatay mo ako, mamunod ako sa buhay mo. Dahil ilalabas ko to, kako.
Ano nangyari?
Siguro, nakapag-isip-isip po siya na at that time, after January, February, middle na February, bigla niya ako tinawagan, bumait. Sabi niya, Nyor, kalimutan na natin, magsimula tayo ng panibago, etc. Magkaibigan naman tayo. Sabi ko, ano mo, Titoran, tigilan mo lang ako ng kababanta sa akin. Wala kang mabibigin. Hindi ko ilalabas yan. Siguraduhin mo lang, hindi mo nauulitin yan.
So, nagalit siya sa'yo, ba't siya nagalit?
Yun nga po, dahil ayaw ko na doon sa pinagagawa niya, sa sistemang gusto niya mangyari, na mag-comply ako. Na yun nga po, pangongolekta, pagtanggap doon ng mga tara, kung ano ang mga special request, ako na ko yung nagiging contribute niya, ako na yung lumalabas na bagman niya ron, collector niya na ako ron eh.
Okay, so itong nakaraang linggo, nagkaroon ba kayo ng... So matagal kayong hindi nagka-upnayan?
Opo.
Bakit? Saan ang place of assignment mo?
Ako po, nagpa-assign na po ako sa NBI Corporal Administrative Region sa Bipak.
Matagal kayong hindi nakikita at magka-upnayan?
Matagal po.
Meron katagal?
Kulang ko lang 3 taon na po kung sasabihin ko.
Nagka-upnayan ulit kayo?
Ito nga po, last August 25. Actually, tulog na po ako nito mga oras na to eh. Around 1:18 or 1:19, nagising ko ako, nag-ring yung cellphone ko. Sinagot ko po yung tawag.
Tapos, ano nakita mo?
Doon sa kabilang line, sumagot, sabi niya, Joe, si Rapi to. Sumagot ako sa kanya, bakit sir? Dire-diretso sabi niya. Ito sasabihin ko yung patalis mo sa Bucor, kasi binabanatan ka at iniintriga. Yung papers mo, wala yun. Meaning yung ginawa ko narration. I-disregard ko daw yun, huwag kong palabasin. Naputol yung tawag niya. Tapos, nag-try ulit siya tumawag using another phone number.
Kausap pa kayo?
Opo, sabi niya, hello. Dinerecho ko na siya. Sabi ko sa kanya, tumawag ka ba para sabihin niya sa akin na magsinungaling ako? Ginano ko na siya kasi nalimpungatan na ako tapos ganun pa sasabihin niya sa akin. Biglang sumigaw siya, hayop na raw niyan, galit ako dyan. Hindi ko na maintindihan kung hindi naman siguro siya.
Kasi Ronnie ang binabanggit niya.
Tinutukoy niya siguro, sa akin lang. Ronnie Dayan, galit daw siya. Sinagot ko na siya ng derechahan. Sabi ko, kung ako sa'yo, mag-testify ka. Kasi during that time, Your Honor, may pronouncement na po si Presidente Duterte na pinangalanan na yung si Secretary De Lima, na senador ngayon, at inilabas na po yung matrix ng Bureau. siguro at that time, natakot na siya. So, ang purpose ng pag-contact niya sa akin, para i-persuade niya ako na wag akong lumutang o magsabi. But then again, nung na-confirm ko na pinatatrabaho niya ako, kasi siya po yung Deputy Director for Intelligence Service namin doon ako nag-isip. Sabi ko, kung 2013, akala ko nagkaayos na kami, tinigilan niya ako. Ngayon naman, Deputy Director namin siya sa Intelligence, pinatatrabaho niya ako. And I can confirm that, Your Honor, na pinatatrabaho ako.
Okay, so parang ang gusto mong sabihin ay ikaw ay gusto mo na mag-testify dito pero pinipigilan ka niya.
Opo.
Bakit mo sabihin?
Kasi nga po, gusto niya magsinungaling ako at parang i-disregard ko yung ginawa ko narration ng 2013. Tapos, gina-justify niya na palalabasin niya na umalis akong kusa sa bureau na totoo naman kasi nag-aaway kami. Pero pinalalabas niya, umalis ako dahil iniiwas niya lang daw ako sa pagbabanta o yung mga pang-iintriga sa akin, which is not true, na hindi ko naman pwede sinungalingan yon. Kaya nag-decide po ako noong August 31 na tumawag ako kay Atty. Marlon Buwan.
So, sino yung Marlon niya?
Siya po yung NCR Director ng Public Attorney's Office. Siya po at the same time, under mission ko.
Anong nangyari nang tawagin mo siya?
Tumawag ako sa kanya, humingi ako ng meeting sa kanya. Urgent, sabi ko, Brad, ano na to? Medyo pagka-urgency na to, kailangan kita makausap. Umaga ko po siya na contact. In the afternoon, sabi niya ko yan, punta ng opisina. Doon sa office sa may Manila, sa likod po ng Manila City.
At nag-mo ka ng statement mo?
Kinuwento ko po sa kanya. Kinuwento ko lang po. At nag-request pa nga po ako sa kanya, sabi ko, if it's possible for me to talk personally with Atty. Acosta. Sabi niya, di ba ni bro, a-arrange ko, tingnan ko kung anong magagawa ako. But alam niya yung concern ko. So that was August 31. Then kinontak niya ako morning ng September 2. Sabi niya, bro, magkita tayo. Pero mamaya na tayo magkita para kung if you don't feel secure, may lumabas na medyo alanganan ka, magkita tayo sa gabi around 6 or 7 in the evening. Doon po sa may General Street, malapit sa medical center na nila, doon po sa malapit sa UN.
Anong ka nangyari kay Director Lagos? Lagos?
Wala na po. Right after that, wala naman po akong nabalitaan sa kanya. Hindi na siya kumontak sa akin ulit. Hindi na po siya ulit kumontak sa akin.
Mr. Chair, that will be all.
Thank you for that. Please, Vice Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
The affidavit of enumerated a lot of personalities. And reiterating the advice of the chairman, may I request the Honorable Secretary, please take another look at this affidavit. And please segregate those witnesses that can help us in our inquiry on 2 points: proliferation of drugs in NPP, and number 2, accountability of those who have been tasked to supervise and control NPP. And especially, so I'm talking to Johan, Superintendent Ayala, Mangkiko, Colonel Ray Diwag, Ron Buwan. I'm limiting myself to these people, including those enumerated in paragraphs 46 and 48 of the affidavit. Please
just limit ourselves to people who can help us in this inquiry, as they would be the only personalities that we will subpoena. The Honorable Secretary may feel free to inform the committee if he can voluntarily present to this committee his witnesses. Otherwise, we shall be prepared to issue subpoena or to Chisteco that is applicant. That's all. Well, that's precisely the task of the Honorable Secretary.
So what is the pleasure of the Vice Chair insofar as the committee is concerned?
Because the affidavit, a very lengthy one, containing 79 paragraphs, mentioned, as I said, the names of Johan, Superintendent Ayala, Manquico, Colonel Ray, Iwag, and Marlon Buwan. Definitely, you will be at liberty to have them brought to this committee. Otherwise, you will be forced to issue subpoena. Regarding security risks, those enumerated in paragraphs 46 and 48, please.
So can you do that, Mr. Secretary? Because these are under your wings, they being NBI personnel, and which is under the
and also inmates, especially those enumerated.
So similar to the arrangement that we did today, where you provided the security for these inmates, we expect the same way by which these witnesses will be brought to this committee.
Actually po, itong naka-enumerate dito sa 46, paragraph 46 and 48 are all high-profile inmates. And
inmates in Philippine. So, are they part of those that you will present to this committee?
Some of them, Mr. Chair,
so, siguro, tapusin muna natin yung those that they have already covered to facilitate things for all, baka hindi na kailangan natin yan.
The committee has been relying on who the Honorable Secretary will present. We will proceed from that assumption.
Precisely, he has established effectively this case because he was the one who investigated and in fact facilitated the delivery of these inmates here. So we expect the same way in which we have conducted this, unless you would need from us a subpoena for reasons that are beyond you. I mean, hindi nyo mapuwesang mag-testify and their testimony is important, then we will issue the necessary subpoena.
That's what you're going to do, Mr. Chair. Kasi sa totoo lang, none of these affidavits have been prepared by me. They were prepared with assistance of their respective counsel. Yung pong mga inmates na yan, for the first time, nakaharap ko lamang po yan last Sunday. And this is the second time this morning that I met them. Kaya gumawa po ng affidavit na yan ay yung mga kanlaan-lang abogado.
Yeah, anyway, ang point lang is that this is they are under your wings. And nandiyan naman ang PAO, perhaps even IBP can assist. Inimbitan po natin IBP, but we have to check with them. But the whole point is to facilitate this inquiry. We would expect the same cooperation that you have given us so far.
Opo, actually, yun po ang kinakailangan. Actually, kung meron po kaming kinakailangan, hindi namin kaya. Katulad niyan kay Ronnie Dayan, dapat supinaandan. Tsaka yung isa na umapir doon sa matrix ni President Duterte, yung si Jonathan Caranto, na pagkatapos ng mag-affidavit niya sa NBI, at sinabi niya na beses siyang inutusan ni Secretary De Lima na magdeposito sa account ni Ronnie Dayan, eh hindi na po bumalik kasi empleyado siya pala. Nang siya ilabas ni President Duterte, nandun po pala sa kusina ko siya. Kaya
we will work with each other towards really getting to the bottom of this and everything out of it.
Mr. Chair, before we will excuse the witness and before our Deputy Director, Command Responsibility Principle, because in the first place, why is Deputy Director Racos been at Bucor, and whether it is not on record whether it has the clearance of the NBI Director at the time, so that in the testimony also of Agent Ablin, which is very explosive, not only proliferation of drugs, corruption, extortion. I know the agent had traveled really in a rough and rugged roads. So that I think we have to include who is the NBI Director at that time. Why is in the first place, also in the affidavit of Agent Ablin, he reported immediately to certain Colonel Liwan. Why did he not report to his immediate director?
What is your pleasure?
We can probably include that in the subway together with
Who are these to be subpoenaed?
Mr. Ronnie Dayan, Caranto,
and the NBI Director at the time that Lagos ba?
Deputy Director
Deputy Director Lagos was assigned to. But in the meanwhile, since you have access to these people, please clarify with this committee how this came about that this Lagos was assigned to the Bureau without the imprimatur of the NBI Director.
Mr. Chair, siguro madali lang explain yun kasi the NDP, the NBI, Bureau of Immigration, tsaka LRA, they're all attached agencies of the Department of Justice, and the Department Secretary De Lima, could designate or assign any...
Sige po. Basta anyway, we need to establish facts. And this is what we need from you. It's 4:15 and we have overextended our time already. Buti na lang nandito po yung majority leader who has authorized us to continue with this committee hearing with this legislative inquiry, and may I just inform all members present here that their attendance in plenary is already considered. So anyway, we have 3 more witnesses to present. Do we have time to go through this, or because our members have been waiting for so long a time to be able to already interpolate at least those witnesses already presented. But what is maybe the pleasure of the Secretary?
First of all, Mr. Chair, do we have a hearing tomorrow?
Yes, we do.
So, this will be in the morning.
Yes, 9:30 also.
Mr. Chair, we have a budget hearing before this at 1:30 also.
Well, perhaps your deputies can take over the presentation so we can proceed, so that we can really hasten the conduct of this inquiry.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you for the suggestion.
Yes, we just like to know with the Secretary here, who will be the one to be in charge in this one, because as you said, it is confirmed that we'll have a budget hearing, pre-plenary scheduled tomorrow at 1:30. That will coincide with the present hearing.
been today.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kasi po, pag hindi po natin ginawa ito bukas, baka mag-hearing ulit tayo unless the majority leader will allow us in the Committee on Appropriations will allow us to conduct hearings even during plenary budget debates. Otherwise, we will see each other again in November. And that will be, ubus na yung oras natin for the 2-month period. And of course, may break na tayo. Pero nakalagay po sa rules, it is 60 calendar days. Kaya 2 months yun. Kaya kailangan mo talaga nating gawin ito on a continuing basis. But we will make the necessary representations with the Rules Committee and so with the Committee on Appropriations so we can continue.
Mr. Chair, I think it would be best for the presentation today that we will still allow the good secretary to present Deputy Director Ramos because the testimony is just so short and it corroborates a portion of the testimony of NBI agent Ablen, minus the differences of the two officials.
So, yun lang, Majority.
Mr. Chairman, this is how I propose that we will do it. I will coordinate with Appropriations Committee to excuse the presence of the Secretary because he has to be here to complete this thing that we have started here. Anyway, the Vice Chairman for the Appropriations for the Judiciary and the Department of Justice is here. So, yung isang Undersecretary na lang ang mag-present doon para tuloy-tuloy po ito. Then, we will have our plenary debates on the budget until October 7. So, pagdating naman ng October 12, pwede lang mag-resume ito. 12 hanggang October 18 siguro.
Yes, Mr. Chair. It's all right with me.
Okay, so ang request is for one more witness who is Deputy Director Ragos. And then we will dispense muna with the 2 others for lack of material time. And then after Deputy Director Ragos, then we will open the floor for interpellation.
Mr. Chairman, point of view about clarification. It was explained earlier that this is about immunity. The statements made by a witness in these proceedings cannot be used against him in any other proceedings will follow. I would like to ask if this covers as well statements made by another witness that are incriminating to another witness, Mr. Chairman. Does this immunity cover this as well? Like in this instance, the witness has preferred statements that are incriminating against Deputy Director Rago. Does the immunity cover statements that are made not by Rago but by another witness?
All of the testimonies covered by this hearing are covered by the immunity. Okay, so shall we now proceed to Deputy Director Ragos? So the witness is excused. Dito ka dumaan, no? Hindi, mukhang nagkatabi nga sila kanina dun eh. Mukhang okay na. O, sige ka, di ba? Okay, Deputy Director Ragos, you assisted by counsel?
Yes, sir.
So, Secretary Aguirre, you're now
We begin with the confirmation of the other chair.
Hindi natin nakunan. Hindi natin nakunan. Takit eh.
Deputy Director Rafael Ragos.
Please state again your name and your personal circumstances.
I'm Rafael Ramos, Deputy Director of the National Bureau of Investigation. My address is Camp Crame, Manila. I am still at present the Deputy Director of the National Bureau of Investigation, assigned at the Office of the Director.
What is your rank now?
Director 3.
In September 2012, were you detailed at the Bureau of Corrections in Manila?
That is the first thing I said, but when we verified the date of the department order, it is August. Anyway, it takes time to receive the department order, but the true date is August.
So, itong paragraph number 2, dapat sa halip na September, dapat August 2012.
Yes, sir.
So, anong nangyari sa work mo? Where were you working then in August 2012?
I was still the controller of the NBI, and at the same time, I was partially detailed at the Bucor with standing instruction from the Secretary of Justice, Leila De Lima, to conduct studies of the criminalities inside the Bucor, particularly the NPP, and to be her eyes and ears. Because for a moment, there was no sitting director then at the Bucor, and she assumed to be the acting director of the Bucor.
Mr. Chairman, to expedite the proceedings, may I just ask 2 questions. One, Mr. Ragos, how did it happen that you were connected with Bucor? Whose authority were you given a dual assignment?
Sinabi mo dito partial. Yes, sir. Mayroon po kasi department order si Secretary na partial detail ako sa Bureau of Corrections.
Pag sinabing partial, yun nga gusto kong
Concurrent, sir, I'm still the controller, and at the same time, I am also working at the Bureau.
full-time ka rin sa Bureau.
Actually, ganun lumalabas, but I have to run to the NBI to sign vouchers, checks, and anything that are related to financing.
Ang natira lang doon sa NBI na trabaho mo is in relation to finance.
Yes, because I'm the controller.
Otherwise, lahat, Bucor ka na talaga.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that will be all.
So, you were partially detailed with the Bucor.
Yes, sir.
Who was the one who gave you the detailed assignment with the Bucor?
The then Secretary of Justice, Leila De Lima.
I am showing you this Department Order number 677 dated 17 August 2012. Will you kindly go over this and tell us what is the relation of this Department Order 677 to your being detailed with the Bureau of Corrections?
That is the department order, sir, detailing partially to the Bureau of Corrections.
May we request, Mr. Chair, that this Department Order number 677 be marked as our Exhibit N? So, while being partially detailed with the NBB, you are still performing some functions with the NBI, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is that function?
I am the controller, so I take charge of the financing of the Bureau.
Did you execute an affidavit before testifying in this case?
Today, sir, here? Yes, sir.
Do you have it with you?
I have a photocopy.
That photocopy, does it contain, does it reflect The truth or of your original affidavit. I'm showing you this Exhibit G, which has been previously marked as Exhibit G, which the affidavit of Rafael Z. Ragos. Could you examine this and tell us what relation has this affidavit you executed before testifying here? Could you again sign each and every page and the last page over your name? May we request that the new signatures of the witness be marked as exhibit. Exhibit na yan. G. G-4. The second signature, G-5. And the third signature, G6. So you said that you were assigned by Secretary De Lima to investigate the escape of Mr. Romel Lasiste, an inmate from the maximum security compound.
Yes,
Is this correct?
yes, sir.
And that you requested the NBI Counter-Terrorism Division to assist in conducting the investigation to which they obliged. Do you know Mr. Avencio Cablen Jr.?
I know him, sir.
Why do you know him?
Because he's been an office mate long before. And we met again when I was partially detained at the
I call your attention to paragraph number 6 of your affidavit, which you said that in the latter part of November 2012, you were officially designated as officer in charge of the Bureau of Corrections, Bucor, by then DOJ Secretary Leila De Lima. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I show Department Order number 981 of the Department of Justice under the signature of Leila De Lima as Secretary. Will you please go over this and tell us if this is the designation which you are referring to? And we will request that the Xerox copy be marked in evidence of exhibit.
This is the one, sir.
So going back to the question of Mr. Ablen, what was your relationship at that time?
Actually, he was not under me, but because I have nobody to assist me in my function at the airport, I requested him to stay even after the investigation of the escape of the system.
I requested him to
to stay.
To stay? To stay where?
To stay with me at the Bureau of Corrections.
Did he stay?
Yes, sir.
In the morning of November 2012, is there any unusual incident that happened? Does the
You mean November
2012?
November 20?
I refer you to fact number 8.
Yes. After coming from the inspection of the gate of the maximum full time, I went home to the director's quarter. Then I entered my room. In the front entrance of the room, I saw different stuffs into this on my bed. Included in those stuffs are t-shirts, dried mangoes, other things, and particularly a black bag.
What is this black bag about?
When I opened the black bag, I saw bundles of 1,000 pesos. So my reaction was, I was surprised. Parang I was telling myself, ganito ba dito? Anyway, I went out to inquire to the delivery bag. According to the looking out prisoners who were serving me, there were around 3 to 5 in one instance that they were taking and the DQ. Yung black bag sinabi, ibigay sa inyo. So, nung nangyari yung sa tables, kasi hindi na ako sa salas, ibigay nyo na namin mga regalo sa isa. So, natagdaan mo ba ang pangalan? Sa sinabi pangalan sa akin, pero hindi mo natagdaan.
After showing, after seeing the black bag, you receive a call?
Yes, that's after a while. While I was talking to the local prisoners, someone called me for telephone. Anyway, ang caller sabi, sir, yung black bag, may limang pa yun. Sabi ko, sino ito? Sir, hindi naman pumalaga pangalan ko. Galing po dito yan. Saan dito? Galing po yung hospital ko. Pakindala po kay Romy Gayon.
So, galing daw kay Peter ko?
Yun ang sabi niya, sir.
Ngayon, what do you mean by limang manok?
5 million.
5 million pesos?
Yes, sir.
So, yun yung pagkabilan yung
actually, hindi ko sinabi lang, pero if you will approximate, talagang 5 million siya. Kasi yung ang weight kasi yung 1 million is usually 1 per 1 kilo. Maano siya. Saka yung ibot.
So what did you do after receiving that call and receiving that 5 million pesos?
I called Mr. again because I have to see him to get me kasi went home. Sabi ko din, samahan mo ako. Sabi niya sa bahay. So, nagpunta ka ng Estrada or dito cross doon ang bahay niya. That's in Manila. So, I touched him. Then, he proceeded to the house of Secretary De Lima. And I told him na siguro tara ito kaya kota. Tinilibre natin kay Secretary kaya kay Romy.
Okay. By the way, who is this Peter Ko?
Peter Ko is an alias being used by a high-profile inmate at the NBP.
Are you aware? Is this a high-profile inmate?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware if he has any reputation inside the Philippines?
He is said to be the biggest kind of drug lord at the Philippines.
drug lord ang reputasyon nito.
Yes, sir.
Isa sa pinakamalaking drug lord sa loob ng Philippine.
Yun po ang usap-usap ng mga tao sir.
Okay, so after receiving that 5 million, and so what did you do? You said you went to the house of
Mr. Chair, independent counsel of the Food Secretary. We've been asking the witness on who is this Peter Ko, and then the witness answered that it is just Impalayaw. So, or alias, can we let the witness answer what is the real name of this Peter Ko?
We will ask him po, Mr. Chair. Ano ang alam mong pagka-uli ng pangalan ni Peter Ko?
Actually, I read his name, but hindi ko lang recall because usually these Chinese are in review court, they are particularly known for their aliases. Yung mga real name nila, malalaman ko lang because I have at least pinahingi ko nung gusto ko malaman. I cannot recall that.
Kanina, merong video presentation dun sa Discovery yung kay JB Sebastian at saka yung sa SAP. Did you notice if that Peter Ko is included in the video presentation provider or both?
Parang siya yun, pero I personally know Peter Ko.
You personally know.
Sino siya? If you personally know him. Sir, yung Chinese name ko sir, yung mga tandaan. But I know him because through promotion, everyone else is Peter Ko and yung listahan ko niya.
Eliminator pa rin siya ngayon sa to.
I think so, siya rin siya ata.
Sa pagkakaroon.
Yes, sir.
Would you be able to get the true name of Peter Ko?
Yes, sir. Tatawag po sa report.
So you said that you went somewhere after receiving the money. Where did you go?
We went to the residence of Secretary Leila De Lima, Laguna Bay Corner, Subic Bay Drive at South Bay Village, Parañaque. While on the way, sinasabi ko din na yung at the money, i-deliver natin yung importa. Yung dapat na-deliver kay Secretary De Lima. So we went to the house of Secretary De Lima. Secretary De Lima.
Mr. Secretary, just a point of information. The person, the name of the person with an alias Peter Ko is Wu21 EU1.
That's right, Mr. Chair. Wu21 EU1, also known as Peter Ko. Where is the money located or placed at that time?
The money was located at the door in front of the driver's seat. No, in front of the passenger seat.
Were you able to reach the residential house of Secretary De Lima?
Yes, sir.
When you reach this house of hers at Laguna Bay Corner, Subic Bay Drive, South Bay Village, Parañaque City, what did you do?
I alighted from the car, then I proceeded to the gate, and Mr. Ronnie Ryan was there. He opened the gate for me, and I handed him the black bag, and he said thank you. Then we proceeded to the main door of the house, where the secretary is standing.
The secretary is standing inside the house.
Yes, because it's
inside or still outside?
Yes, partially inside, outside, to some part.
So when you saw the secretary near the door of the house, what did you do next?
I said, good morning. She said, hi Rafi, right after we entered. I don't know if it's still outside, but as long as we entered and Ronnie underwent that plan. And she accepted it.
I'm meaning to say that the 5 billion pesos that you handed to Ronnie was in turn handed by Ronnie to Secretary De Lima. Is that what you mean?
Yes, sir.
How long did you stay inside the house?
I cannot give the approximate time, but it's between maybe 20-30 minutes, something like that.
Okay, in the morning of the middle part of December 2012, do you remember what happened?
Again, it's a weekend. That's Saturday. Saturday is a very busy day for the MPP because this is the day that the families or the wives will have their conjugal visit. So the queuing is very long. So we try to observe that because doon po nangyayari yung pasokan ng mga contraband, especially na pwede yung mga bentahan ng maraming pagkain because they have a small market inside. And then upon return to the director's quarter, I again saw, because it's already Christmas time, many small gifts, talking gifts, and what caught me is a bundle of something wrapped in a white paper bag na parang natakpan ng dyaryo. Anyway, tinitingnan ko siya. Sabi ko, this may be money. Okay to. Anyway, I asked again the inmates, sino nagdala nito? Sabi niya, sabay-sabayan. Ang isa sa mga nagdala ng mga gifts na yan, yung lalaki na nagpunta ng una. Sabi, hindi mo tinanong ang pangalan, pasensya na ko. Hindi ko rin natanong.
Okay, so did you finally examine the contents of the
tinitingnan mo siya, i-physical examination mo, pera talaga siya. So anyway, I knew that this is money and confirmed because there was this caller again. Sir, ako pakidala po kay Ronnie Dayan.
And then, did you know from whom the money was money came?
Sinabi niyo po, galing ulit kina Peter po.
And what did you do after receiving the
Again, I called June, I texted him and delivered the money to the residence of Secretary De Lima. Then there, it was only Ronnie. I gave him the money, then we talked for a while. Then we went back to the director's quarter.
Okay, this second time that you delivered, to whom did you give the money?
To Ronnie.
Where was Secretary De Lima then?
I did not see her.
Why did you give the money to Ronnie Dayan? By the way, when the caller called you, saying to give the money to Ronnie Dayan, what is in your mind? To whom shall this money be given?
It's just the same whether you give it to the secretary or you give it to Ronnie Dayan. You know that they're close associates. Because for all this reason, you can see that they have a relationship.
Relationship? What kind of relationship?
Sa public knowledge na lang po.
Public knowledge?
Yung kanilang...
Yeah, it's better that we like everybody.
Parang girlfriend, boyfriend.
So that was your impression at that time? Boyfriend, girlfriend sila?
Yes.
So that was the reason why, is that the reason why even without the secretary being there, you entrusted the 5 million pesos to Ronnie Dayan?
Yes, sir. And besides, to to my mind, I really have to deliberate. Kasi ayaw ko rin siya hawakan. In the sense, the moment kung ma-aksidente mo pera, ang kalaban mo din, sindikato din.
The moment na
Ma-aksidente mo pera, ang kalaban mo din, sindikato din. So, fear for your life, for anything else, kailangan talaga i-deliver mo.
what made you come up about this delivery of 10 million pesos to the Secretary of Finance?
You mean my testimony? Because June was proposing to me to be the state witness, and for a while I pondered, then it's better to come out and tell the truth.
So, since you know, you are not a lawyer.
I'm not.
Since you know already that you have been given immunity, and one of the conditions of this immunity is that you have to tell the truth and the whole truth.
Yes, sir.
Are you willing to do that?
I'm ready to work, sir. I'm doing that.
Yeah, but tomorrow you will be examined by these honorable gentlemen, women, ladies.
Yes.
So, I mean, so I believe that we should be straightforward about this, and let's tell everything.
Yes, sir.
Even if you know or we suspect that you did not reveal everything. It's just an advice from your secretary, and sana sundin. Because yun, baka mabaliwala yung
Sir.
baka mabaliwala yung immunity pag lumalabas na you are not telling everything. Anyway, it's an advice.
Are you done? Thank you very much. Finally, we completed testimonies of 4 witnesses in today's hearing. We will dispense with the 2 others, but in the meanwhile, may we request the 4 witnesses to come forward. May I request the pages to give room to these 4 witnesses so that we can already start with the interpellation of the members.
Mr. Chair, just a manifestation of the Chair.
Okay, please.
Alejandro. Thank you, Mr. Chair. There were names that were mentioned in the testimonies of the witnesses. I just would like to clarify if the following names were included in those that will be subpoenaed.
Who are these?
May I know if Director Franklin Bukayo, Director Villa Santa of the PAO, Superintendent Rafael Cardenio, and J.B. Sebastian. I just would like to clarify, Mr. Chair, if they are included in those persons to be invited here in our committee.
Only one was that you mentioned has been will be issued a subpoena. So what is the pleasure of Your Honor?
In that case, Mr. Chair, I would like to move that the following persons be invited in the next hearing, considering the fact that their names were mentioned in the testimonies of the witnesses. I move that the following be invited: Mr. J.B. Sebastian, who is now, I think, detained at MVP. Superintendent Rafael Cardenio, I think, is also detained in the MVP. Director Franklin Bukayo, the former Bucor Chief, and then Director Villa Santa, I think he's the former Chief of the PAO. I understand that there was an interagency task force to investigate the drug issue inside NBP. So I move, Mr. Chair.
Any second?
Mr. Chair, before we approve the motion, we would like to inquire from the good congressman why is Director Villa Santa included when none among those who testified mention his name, and if it is such interagency investigation, then that has something to be cleared first with the Secretary of Justice, because in today's presentation, we have invited the Secretary of Justice from the executive branch, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, because it is his department that investigates this proliferation of illegal drugs at the NBP. So that inviting other personalities which has not been mentioned or touched in these proceedings today, especially so that not also involved in the investigation conducted by the Department of Justice, is, I think, still premature.
Mr. Chair, I mentioned the name of Director Villasanta because he was the former chief of the PAOK who was involved in the interagency task force investigating the drug issue in NBP, I think starting 2013. So I move that he will be included because he would have the direct knowledge on the issue of the drug trade inside NBP.
So, you know, we don't really need probably to force them to come here because they are cooperative. Do I get it right, Congressman Ariano?
We will just invite them, Mr. Chair.
Perhaps what we could do is, yung isa doon sa sinabi mo is an inmate. Si
Two of them, Mr. Chair, J.B. Sebastian.
With respect to the inmates, may we request the same process by which we are able to bring these witnesses here, who are inmates, yung apat dito, through Secretary of Justice. No? So we would request DOJ to facilitate this. And then with respect to the two others, we'll request that they be invited. But anyway, we will be issuing a lot of subpoenas and or invitations already. So what will happen here is that perhaps we will look at how this will roll out in the course of these proceedings so that we will not have to waste the time of these people waiting for their turn to make their or say their testimonies.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One more manifestation, Mr. Chair. In the last Congress, 16th Congress, the Justice Committee of the House of Representatives conducted a hearing related to drug issue at NBP. Actually, we visited NBP and we conducted hearings inside, believe it. And I was one of those, and some members of the House who were there inside NBP. Actually, we visited the cabal of J.B. Sebastian after a grenade was thrown there as a result of the conflict within the gangs. And in relation to that, Mr. Chair, may I request the good chairman to provide members of this committee the transcript of records of all the committee hearings of this committee relating to the drug issue investigation, because that would be a great help to new members of this committee. Dahil po nag-investigate na po tayo doon, may mga information na binigay, may mga intelligence information na binigay sa atin, so that would give or will educate new members of this committee, Mr. Chair.
To my understanding, as reported by the COMSEC, this is really an investigation in relation to the pending bill at that time, which is the Bucor modernization. So anyway, there is really nothing on the drug case in NBP, but really a investigation pertinent to a pending bill that was the modernization of the Bucor. So anyway, at any rate, the COMSEC is hereby directed to provide whatever information there is on this particular undertaking of the committee for the benefit of all men.
Mr. Chair, I hope the committee would be able to declassify the information given during the executive session of this committee. Because I remember we had a meeting in the committee, the planning of on how to conduct raid. during the time when the interagency task force, I think, was planning to conduct raid inside the NBP. So if the committee would be able to declassify the information given to us during the time, again, that would be a great help.
As a general rule, that is not allowed, but of course the committee by a majority vote can declassify that. We will deal with that at the proper time. Meanwhile, we need to go through a process before we can do that, but we must first look into the matter before we present it to the body for decision.
That's all for me, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Any other comments before we proceed with the interpellation? Congressman Barbers.
Mr. Chairman, I was great to believe that there are 6 witnesses. I don't know what the chair has ruled earlier with respect to the 2 other witnesses who have not been presented yet.
For lack of material time, we are dispensing with only for today because they will come back tomorrow, so that we will have the time to interpolate already those 4.
Just a suggestion, Mr. Chair. Can we not just ask the secretary, the secretary, just to identify their affidavits in order that they will be recorded? They've been here also waiting patiently since this morning. If that is all right with the chair, otherwise I would submit to the wisdom of the chair.
Perhaps I think many of our members are more than eager to start with the interpretation. So anyway, those administrative matters like clean marking and identification and matching of affidavits, we will do through the COMSEC, and then we will proceed. But anyway, they've been here, and if you wish to take pictures of them, then please do so. So can we now open the period of interpellation? And in my list, I have here Honorable Harry Roque. Let me just go through this quickly. Doyle Chon, Honorable Pineda, Ace Barbers, Troy Pevilla, Henry Scribe, Mikey Romero, Rani Abu, Luffy Biason, Honorable Romy Apo, Gwen Garcia, Honorable Gonzaga and Garbin, and Congresswoman Gas Tambunting, Deputy Speaker Fred Castro, Representative Paduano, Representative Fortun, Congresswoman Biolago, Cong Abellanosa, and Cong Batuabi. In that order.
Magkasunod kami ni Kong Hari nagpalista, and I didn't hear my name. In fact, sabay kami nagpalista. We arrived at the same time. Sabi ko, unahin si Kong Hari.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I vouched the testimony of
Sige, in that,
I saw him.
for that reason, then before Congressman Yachon is Congressman Dennis.
Mr. Chair, may I also signify. Mr. Chair, may I also signify. Thank you.
With the kind permission of this the chair, and so as not to waste time, may I proceed with my interpellation?
Please, for again an orderly, because of the so many members who wish to interpellate. 3 minutes. May we would allow each member to interpolate for about 3 minutes, and then we'll have a second or even a third round if necessary. 3 minutes?
Just to clarify, the 3 minutes does not include the answer, just the question.
Yes.
So with the kind permission of the chair, my first question really is addressed to the first witness, Mr. Magleo. Mr. Magleo, 3 minutes lang po ako, so pakinggan nyo na po ang tanong para masagot nyo na agad. Wala pala si Nugleo.
Ibigyan ng siya.
Okay, habang napaupo pa po si Nugleo para can we stop my time? Dapat.
Asa si Magleo? Yan.
Oh, Mr. Magleo, sinabi niyo po no, sa kanilang testimonya na nung una, hiningan kayo ng tara na 50,000 naman. Diba po? Sino po humingi sa inyo nun?
Hindi po kami na-meet yung quota na 50,000 a week, Your Honor.
Ang tanong po, sino humingi nun? Sino humingi nun tara?
Ronnie Dayan, Your Honor.
Ronnie Dayan.
Palisong Dayan.
Okay, kailan po niya hiningi itong 50,000 naman?
3 weeks after we personally met, Your Honor.
Yung 3 weeks after you personally met, yun yung kasama niya si Secretary De Lima.
Yes, Your Honor.
At yung 3 weeks, yung paghingi niya sa iyo, kasama pa ba niya si Secretary De Lima?
Hindi na po, Your Honor. Ang communication na lang namin ay through cellphone, Your Honor.
Paano po niya hiningi yung 50,000 sa inyo sa cellphone?
Sabi po niya na may mga gastusin ang opisina ni Madam, Secretary de Lima. Sabi niya, suporta para kay Madam, sabi po niya. So, ang ginawa namin mag-partner ng aking init leader, nakapagbigay kami kahit paano 3,000, 4,000, 6,000,
Okay.
10,000, Your Honor.
Okay.
So, natanggal kami, Your Honor.
Ano pong kapalit yung binibigay niyo o yung hinihingi ng 50,000?
Para tuloy-tuloy na maging inmate leader po kami, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, sinabi niyo rin na naging kumpidante kayo ni JB, kaya alam niyo yung, kaya nasabi ni JB sa inyo na kaya napatalsik yung Bilibid 19 sa NBI para masolo ni JB. No? Ang tanong ko, paano kayo naging kumpidante nitong si JB?
Your Honor, noon pa man, nung pagdating pa lang niya sa maximum, I could remember it right, siguro 2009 siguro yun. Nagipag-ibigan na sa grupo ko, Your Honor, bilang ako ay isang Board of Trustees ng Kalasang Organization, Your Honor. Tinitingala niya ang mga members ng Kalasang, dating mga police, Your Honor, at pinagkakatiwalaan niya. At ako isa yun na pinagkakatiwalaan niya.
So, kaya ka naging kumpidante dahil ikaw ay pulis at dati nating major. Opo. Magkano kayo ka-close?
Close talaga, Your Honor, kasi minsan pa nakikita-kita kami sa tennis court. We are both tennis players, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, ang susunod ko namang tanong ay dun sa King Herbert Colanco. Mr. Colanco, ang sabi niyo, nagbibigay kayo ng 3 million simula pa noong October 2013 kay Secretary Leila De Lima at 1.2 million doon naman sa Director ng Philippine. Tama po, no?
Opo, tama po.
Ang tanong ko po, magkano ang total na kinikita nyo mula nung kayo'y nagbibigay ng 4.3 million kay Leila De Lima at doon sa Director ng Philippine?
Ang kinikita ko po sa pagpapalit na 10% a week, 14% naman. At sa mga tilapia, sinasabi ng mga muli pinapasok at sa mga derigan ay hindi ko matansya po, medyo malaki-laki din po.
Pero magkano nga, para makita namin kung gano'ng kalaki yung binibigay mo kay Leila De Lima at saka doon sa Director ng Prisons in relation doon sa total kita mo sa loob ng Manila.
Tutusin ko po. Tutusin ko pa, tapos yung mga 3 million naman po at umiikot naman ako sa mga big time landlords. At pag makulang ako naman gagawin. Minsan pag sobra po ay sa akin naman ito. So, tansya ko po, yung kita ko sa pagpautang lang ay nasa po mga 2 to 3 million. Pinakababa po 2 million naman po.
Pinakamababa 2 million naman.
Sa papasugaling po, may live-sabon po ako sa studio sa compound ko, gabi-gabi po yan. Live-sabon ako sa TV. At nilalata ko po, may board po ako doon at may mga machine po ako na pagbilang ng pera para mas mabilis. At isa po yung dice. Yung dice po, 3 piraso. Yung baksa po, 100,000, 20,000.
Pero yung kita ninyo na malaki, na na-afford yung 3 million, dati-dati, hindi naman kasama ang pagtutulak ng droga. Sa gawin nyo?
yung inutusan na po ako, ngayong gawin ko po. So hindi po ako nagtutulak ng droga at witness po si Rafael Ragos nung isip siya doon, siya po nag-appoint po sa akin dahil tiwala po siya sa akin dahil ako wala naman akong drugs na laro sa loob ng liit.
Oh, pero sabi niyo pumayag na rin kayo na magtulak ng droga. Ito nais namin maintindihan. Paano yung sistema? Dahil nakakulong ka sa maximum, paano ka nila inasahan na magtulak ng droga na ang sabi mo ay ilan ba ito? 5 kilo kada 2 linggo?
Opo.
Ito ba yung sa loob lamang o sa loob at sa labas?
Ito po, marami po akong membro. Dahil po ako isang chairman ng maximum security compound. Ang escorting ko pa lang is 30 to 40 ka-inmates. At yung 5 kilo po ay mga 7 tao, 5 tao lang ang 5 kilo po.
Kung hari, please.
Okay. Ito na po, policy question at address ko sa kanino. Sa inyong estimate, anong porsyento ng total ng pagtutulak ng pinagbabawal na droga ang nangyayari dahil doon sa mga nakakulong sa Muntinlupa?
Ulit, hindi ko maintindihan.
Kung hindi nyo masagot, siguro yung una kong tinanong si Mr. Magleo, no? Sa inyong estimate, alam ko malaki yung drug trade sa loob ng Muntinlupa. Sabi ni Mr. Magleo, 1 billion minsan yung naging receivable, no? Ano yung porsyento ng kalakalan ng pinagbabawal ng gamot ang kinukuman ng mga nakakulong sa Muntinlupa? Ibig sabihin, pag natigil natin yan, kalakalan sa loob ng Muntinlupa, ganong porsyento mawawala ng mga nagtutulak ng pinagbabawal na gamot sa labas ng Muntinlupa?
To be ladder, Your Honor. Tons of shampoo, Your Honor.
So ang dapat natin gawin, itapon si JB ngayon din sa NBI. Kung gusto natin talaga mawala ito ni Lada, itapon natin si JB sa NBI ngayon din.
Your Honor, nag-iba na ang takbo ng panahon, Your Honor, na naging Secretary of Justice na si Atty. Italiano Aguirre at ng Director na si General Rolando Asuncion, Your Honor. Wala lang siya pa ngayon sa loob, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I'm out of time, Mr. Chair.
We now recognize Congressman Teves.
Thank you. My first question is addressed to Mr. Ragos. Who was during your time, sir, who was in charge of the entry and exit? Sino yung direct boss ng pagpasok at paglabas ng tao at gamit sa Philippine?
Yes, each and every confined facility like maximum CW and
Hindi, yung pinaka-main entrance.
yes, ang in-charge ko doon, although there are officers side, pero ang pinaka-in-charge talaga dyan, ang approval is the superintendent.
Isa lang yung superintendent sa buong Yukon.
No. Ang NDP, maximum may isang superintendent. Ang NDP, medium may isang superintendent.
Mga tabat, wala bang isang gate lang yun, yung pinaka-gate na papasok ka bago ka makarating sa, ibig sabihin sa main entrance.
Actually, isa, dalawang gate pero pinasara kayo isa na namin.
So isa na lang yung entrance?
Yes.
Okay, sa akin kasi, kung binabantayan yung main entrance, wala talagang makakapasok. I think, isa sa pinakalayable dito, yung in-charge ng pagpasok.
These are actually, kung tanong ko, we have to guard going out and going in kasi mas paglabas may nakukuha rin eh.
Kaya na, that's why, I know. That's why, can I have the name of who was the directly responsible, pinaka-direct boss ng main entrance? Yun yung hinihingi kong pangalan.
May officer po, nakasend po yun. I think the other lang po.
Pakabigay sa committee yung pangalan kung pwede.
Anong period ito? Kasi...
Yung sa time niya, sir. Chairman, during his time there.
So, for the whole duration, gano'ng katagal kayo, Deputy Director?
You can say that I was there December and middle of March.
So, mga 3 months?
More or less.
December of 2012 up to March of 2013.
Yes.
So, pwede ba natin please submit siguro sinong superintendent kaya?
Mr. Chair, why not just include until before the assumption of General Assumption?
much awaited resolution number 5 that we will also offer in today's hearing. So while we await, so again I request now the Council to please acknowledge the invited guests and source persons present.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Deputy Speaker.
I appreciate the statement of the Chairman that indeed in this room we are crowded. But I think being crowded is not a problem. All that we have to do is to request silence and order among all those who are around so that the proceeding may proceed smoothly, Mr. Chairman.
And thank you for that reminder, Deputy Speaker. That manifestation is well noted. So we request everyone to please observe silence, and we request everyone to act in accordance with how we will be able to dispense with the measures at hand promptly and effectively. So let me enjoin everyone to please observe silence and